certain extreme situations, the law is inadequate. In order to shame its inadequacy, it is necessary to act outside the law, to pursue natural justice. This is not vengeance. Revenge is not a valid motive, it's an emotional response. No, not vengeance. Punishment.
Tonight we have a chance to say, yeah, you're right. We're too extreme, we're too wild, we're too out of control, we're too full of our own shit. Or we have a chance to say, hey, fuck you, you're wrong. Fuck you, we're right. Because you have all made it to the dance. Because believe me, this is the dance. Start the show.
I will be right back. We're going to let this music play for a second. I did a really dumb thing before the show started, and I don't want to get electrocuted and die. Okay, welcome everybody. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. So, I feel like I've been on kind of a roll lately in terms of not spilling my water. And while the intro montage was playing, I sent a whole glass, this whole thing that I had to refill, ass over tea kettle, right onto an electrical outlet, right onto a surge protector. That's no good. So we had to get that cleaned up, as they say, as soon as possible, ASAP. It's all taken care of. It's all good. And we're ready to go for tonight's evening show. Welcome. You know, we have a very, very good show tonight. It really is one of those shows. It's a classic that really only I can screw up. There's only one person who can dick this whole situation up tonight, and that is me. People are giving us money already. That's remarkably ill-advised, but maybe we can earn that throughout the night. As you know, in both the mornings and the evenings, there is currently no goal. You guys are $95 away from next Monday. You guys are $145 away from Thursday in the morning. So, I don't know. I say we have a contest to see which show extends their winning streak the longest. That could be a lot of fun. So, I was giving Candace Owens shit this morning for saying that she never produces receipts, that she always, there's a meme. It says currently marked safe from Candace Owens showing receipts. I had to prep the show early yesterday because my son had his football game, which he scored 5 touchdowns in. He had 3 pick sixes. 3 pick sixes. And then he had a receiving touchdown and a rushing touchdown on an end around. Just killed it. His team won 42-21. He scored 5 of the 6 touchdowns. Did everything but throw one. So that was great. And then my daughter starts volleyball this Thursday. And I prepped the show. I had the show in the can, ready to go for this morning. Well, I woke up this morning. We were talking all kinds of mad shit about Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA. And, we're looking into this Romanian thing. We watched a video from Stu Peters. I watched something this afternoon from Jimmy Dore and Kurt Metzger. And I think you gotta start paying attention to the guys who sound crazy, because as more and more stuff comes out, it's the guys who sound crazy who tend to be right on the money. So I did not know this, but Erica Kirk's dad, let me just make sure I have this right. Carl Kenneth Fransvey. He is the chairman of Raytheon's Israel division. Sometimes you just don't want to go down these rabbit holes. But her father is the chairman of what's called RTX Corp, which is Raytheon's division in Israel, so that it doesn't look like, Raytheon here, Raytheon there is the same thing, but it is. Erica Kirk's dad is the chairman of that. Her mother also had a job that had them moving around a lot. And Erica Kirk's foundation had a child orphanage charity that was on a military base in, I believe, Romania, where there were also allegations of child trafficking going on. It's really, really weird. It's a deep rabbit hole to go down, but I started hearing this from guys like Jimmy Dore, and I went, well, let's take that with a grain of salt. I don't hear a lot of the big guys talking about it. And you go in and you're like, well, we don't really need the big guys. You just go start reading, and sure enough, it's mainstream news information. There he is. That's who he is. That's the guy. And then you watch guys like, I'm watching Crowder run cover for Israel. I'm watching PBD run cover for Israel. So these big conservative guys, TPUSA obviously now running cover for Israel. It's you kind of got to start listening to the crazy people. And I feel bad because COVID should have taught me that you can listen to the crazy people. It's okay. Just because they're crazy doesn't mean nobody's watching them. Doesn't mean they're not right. And the crazy people are starting to be right more often than not. I felt crazy this morning when I was criticizing CBS, saying that this Barry Weiss thing is an inside Intel paid for asset kind of thing. I'm watching Crystal Ball and Sakar on Breaking Points today, and they're saying the same exact thing, and they're laying it all out. And I'm like, you know what? It's just, I got to go with this stuff. I got to stop second guessing myself on a lot of these things. And then autopsy information on the shooting came out the last 24 hours as well. And our guy, Valhalla VTF, I think is his name, he addresses some of this. And we're going to do that on tomorrow's show. But tonight, we're going to show the Candace Owens receipts, and they are alarming. I kind of backed off the Israel or pro-Israel interests had something to do with Charlie's murder. I'm back on that bus fully after seeing this. Candace, I'll give Candace Owens credit. I gave her a lot of shit this morning for not being a receipt dropper, not knowing she had already dropped receipts. So we'll go over those. And then Turning Point USA, the guys from Turning Point who were guest hosting Charlie's show today, they confirmed it. They said, yep, those are real text messages. They were, this is a 9-person group text. One of them was that Hammer guy who debated Dave Smith. He's a big pro-Israel dude. And let's just say in this group text, Charlie had made an edict that Turning Point USA was going in a very specific direction that a lot of those guys didn't want it to go. And I don't know how far up the food chain this text message got, and I don't know who overheard it. That combined with the letter that Charlie wrote Netanyahu, telling him that he's losing, that, the colleges are against him, that the American people are against him, and he's got to do X, Y, and Z. Netanyahu doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who likes to be told what to do. So we're going to go through all that tonight. It's going to be very, very busy. I also want to talk about these. I have to talk about these cat punching allegations because now Hassan Piker is ripping off Johnny's bit, and he's punching his dog or punching his cat or whatever. Now there's Hassan Piker controversy about beating up animals. So it's going to be a busy night. We got a lot of stuff to do. I'm very excited to have you here. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow, and let's see what we've got so far. Red Fox Mad, I think. is the first one. Says, Aaron, when are you buying a BMW car? You would look so sexy in a 2-door convertible BMW. I am good with my Tahoe, my man. Once you're driving that high up, you feel like such a wiener driving close to the ground. Once you're up, you can't go down. I don't think I could get in a car again and feel comfortable driving. I'd feel, I like being on top of things. I like being on top of the road, kind of, you feel a little more in control of things. Eric Cartman did call it. He says, Aaron spilt a drink. I did. Numero uno says, you really did a dumb thing before the show? How's that different than any other day? I did something dumb before the show instead of saying something dumb during the show. I plan on doing both. Fuck you, dude, with $1 says, I watched the site because of the professional atmosphere it has. Thank you. That's what this show is known for. Mike Go says, spilling water like Johnny. Soon he'll be punching Gordy in the face. Okay, here's what I need to know before we get into Candace Owens and all the holy shit stuff. Explain to me the cat punching thing, okay? Like I'm a 2-year-old, because I don't get the cat punching thing. Johnny threw a toy to his cat, and then people started saying Johnny hits his cat or whatever. That seems like a funny, harmless, stupid thing. It's not very creative. It's not really that funny either. As the host, you kind of have to nurture that one and bring it along to make it funny. It's pretty, it doesn't have a lot of spirit behind it, but it's harmless. Like, it's not a big deal. I kind of got the vibe the more I pushed that with Johnny today. He was not on edge about it, but like a little on edge. How about that Buck Angel Bailey J thing, though? Like, I didn't know that he was that, like, transphobic about the sex thing. To me, the would you rather Buck Angel Bailey J is like a dumb thing you ask other dudes to embarrass them. And when you ask dudes that question to embarrass them, the quicker you just answer the question and the more you answer it with more confidence, you kind of throw it back on them. Because the goal is to embarrass you and get you to go, I don't know. So, like, when somebody asked me today, $10, I think it was fuck you, dude, said Bailey J or Buck Angel. I went, Bailey J, 100%. Threw it right back in his lap. That's how you got to do that. Johnny was, like, ready to fuck. People were like, he's going to cry again. I don't think he was ready to cry. He was ready to, like, jump through the screen and strangle me. Because I'm like, come on. And it was so weird to me because I'm like, doing this show for 10 years, I've never had a co-host react that way to such a stupid question. Corey, old Johnny, Oz, Zach, everybody would have had an answer for that. But he would not answer Buck Angel or Bailey J. It was wild to me. It's a silly, and people in the chat were answering it just fine. I don't think it was because of Digger. I don't think Digger would care if he answered that stupid question. So I don't know. We'll get to it. Fauci's Pangolin says, wait, your son is Ronnie Lott? I mean, kind of. He's got a little Travis Hunter thing going on. I don't know. I'm a long ways behind in the chat. I'm sorry. I'm going to skip through a lot of your guys' stuff here and try to get down to what we were talking about. But holy shit. Have I really been? I guess I have. I've been yapping for about 10, 12 minutes. Who knew? All right. So do I have anything on the cat thing? Other than gayest shirt of the year. That's nice. Johnny never punched a cat. He fingered a ferret, says Fauci's Pangolin. I didn't know that either. Mike Go says, watch the Doom. Oh, no, that creepo conglomerate Doom. Oh, boy. Do I need to do something crazy again? Because poor Doom's out of content. A Johnny cat thing? Oof. I mean, I know these guys all depend on me to make a living. I didn't realize I've been a dearth of content lately. Shit. I'm really sorry. I also found out, and people keep sending me emails, like I have this whole batch of names and addresses now of people who like follow around to the court hearings and like these really big, like weird stalkerish type people. I've got people sending me, I mean, they're emailing me. I got names and addresses. I've got like 2 guys who are related somehow. I don't know if they're brothers or cousins or whatever. Another guy who's mentally ill. And then there's this other guy I've never heard of before, but they gave me all his name and address and this whole thing. And oh my God, these people just find the craziest stuff online. I mean, they're sleuthy. There's some lady, they got me some lady's name. There's like, here's where she's from and everything else. And I'm like, well, okay. Let them be on their best behavior. I would say let their conscience be their guide, is what I would say. Let your conscience be your guide. All right, what's the deal with the cat? I want to see what the deal with the cat is. I don't have anybody giving me a good explanation yet. He was mad. There was no toy. He hit the cat, and the cat screamed in pain. He is a monster. I'm going to seriously press X to doubt on that one. It didn't look to me like he punched him, says 09 Canyon. It looked like he threw him off his leg to me. I mean, if you had a real pet and not a cat, none of this would have ever happened. Ryobi says, here's the breakdown. Johnny's a bitch. He can't roll with the punches anymore. I don't know. I think the ivermectin's going to make him roll better. It's going to loosen him up, and he's going to roll. The Buck Angel Bailey J thing to me was really weird today. I don't know. Fauci's Pangolin says, why didn't you ask Johnny about Bailey J and a cat at the same time? Well, I didn't want to overload the poor guy. T. Duden said he couldn't beat his cat, so he had no outlet for the anger. MSO says, how much to torch that shirt on camera? $500. $500, I'll torch the shirt on camera. Deal. I like that. I like when people like give me a how much, because I always have an answer for them. I will torch it on camera. Before you throw $500 to see that, I am going to put another shirt on while I torch it. There we go. There we go. Aaron, where is that shit shirt come from? Buckle, I think. April bought it for me. This is a Buckle shirt, I believe. A couple people asking where that shirt came from. Atomic Ray says, you were aggressive to Johnny this morning. He is experiencing changes and his confidence feels tested. Being in love doesn't help either. Well, but why would his confidence feel tested? I asked him which trans person he would rather fuck. It, like I said to him today, it's not like nobody's going to make you do it. Like when someone asked me Bailey J, they're not going to bring her to my house and be like, prove it. It's not going to happen. It's just, you can just answer it and be done with it. Baba Shab says, did Johnny slam it off his desk? Is he slamming that poor cat off his desk? God damn it. You know what we didn't ask Johnny? We didn't ask Johnny about his sleep apnea and if he's still choking to death in his sleep. That was amazing to me that he just threw that out there. Johnny's just on the show. He's like, yeah, stopped breathing in my sleep and I woke up and I was kind of gasping. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking apnea. People die from that all the time. But he kind of yada, yada, yada the whole thing. I was amazed by that. Baba Shab says, Aaron raided Buck Angel's closet for that fit. Well, Rusty Grammer says, Buckle, all right, now the shirt is gay as fuck, bro. Sorry. Well, she liked Buckle. She liked it. What can I tell you? Hobo Chili Recipe says, why are you drinking out of a mason jar, you ironic fat fuck? Look at how your hands are compared to that small jar. You should be ashamed of yourself. Oh, it's a small. Anybody want a peanut? It's like an Andre the Giant thing that I did. I just like to be so bad that Hobo gets uncomfortable. That's my favorite. If Johnny did hit the cat in anger, I hope the cat smothers him in his sleep. Well, just plug his nose, apparently. That'll be it. You'll do him in. All right, I think you were pushing his buttons, but usually Johnny would push your buttons back. This time he was just angry at you. Yeah, let's see what YouTube thinks about Johnny and his inability to answer the Buck Angel Bailey question. HIV1 says, Buck Angel, she's natty, unlike Bailey. Well, that's the other thing. These people sometimes don't want to tell you what they got. So you never know. I think Bailey's got a cock, though. think Bailey's got a cock. Jelly for the Smelly says maybe it's weed withdrawal. That can happen when you cut back heavy on weed. I don't know. Plenty of Fish says it's better than trans silk golf shirts, I guess. Well, look, you can't please everybody. Oh, Approachable says, LOL, you use the fact that April likes Buckle to justify that shirt. Well, she also liked you and Blow. So what does that tell you about her judgment? Well, maybe it's gotten better. Maybe now that she's married again, it's her judgment got better. Maybe she got somebody and they straightened her out. So maybe the clothing taste and everything. Maybe I was like her. This is a terrible way to put this. Maybe I was like her bottom, not like that. I just maybe, that was, well, I guess getting arrested for cocaine is your bottom, but you get the idea. You get the idea. Eric Cartman says, true story, you are getting fatter. That is not accurate, sir. That is not accurate. Ablo Pacheco with $1 says toward the $500 requirement for burning the shirt. Well, I guess I got to start adding it up then. People are saying April married again. She's taking after you. Well, people gotta, you gotta keep moving forward. You can't give up. You can't give up. Everybody gets 2 bites at the apple. That's the rule. All right, let's get into some shit. Let's do it. Let's do the, we don't have the Candace Owens thing first. I kind of want to ease into that. Boy, I really blew a lot of people's minds in the chat. I didn't know that wasn't known. My bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought that was out there. That's on me. Dolly Parton apparently is dying. Her sister is asking people to pray for her amid this health battle. Anytime country folk ask complete strangers to pray, that means somebody's dying. Dolly is, how old is she now? About 90? At the very least, she's in her 80s. But last week it was reported that she was not doing well. She had canceled 6 shows from her Vegas residency due to health reasons. Now her sister Frida said 79, never mind. Dolly Parton's 79 years old. The 79-year-old legend still isn't at her best and pleading with fans worldwide to be prayer warriors for the country legend. She's only 79. I thought she was way older than that. I thought Dolly Parton was in, really, way up there. Like I said, I was not going to be surprised if it said 90. Nope. She's 79. Dolly Parton's sister has fans on edge, revealing online the music legend ain't doing too well, and she's begging for prayers. Not long after Dolly canceled those 6 shows did she ask for the prayers. Frida, who said she's been up all night praying, reassured fans that Dolly's strong and deeply loved, and with the world's prayers lifting her up, she believes her sister's going to be just fine. She wrapped the post with Godspeed, my sissy Dolly. We all love you. Don't say God's... No. You don't say Godspeed. You say that to people once they're dead. You don't say Godspeed to people when they're in the hospital fighting for their lives. You do that... Oh, no. That's the wrong... That is the wrong tone to take. We don't want to be saying things like Godspeed or God rest or anything like that. It's, speedy recovery is what you wish them. She postponed her Las Vegas residency from December to September of next year as Dolly was going to need some procedures. Everybody who's going in for procedure, all the famous people going in for procedures lately, they ain't doing too hot with those procedures. You got the Hulkster, they severed some artery or something, and he went renal and he died. Now you got Dolly going in for some procedures. Now she's apparently not doing so hot. The fuck are these doctors doing? Is this like an H-1B visa production? Mikkel Wells says Dolly World just closed permanently. No, they would keep... They would keep Dollywood open without her. They wouldn't close that down just because she died. That's like Madden. Madden, they keep going after he died. He's fine. HIV-1 might be right. I might be thinking of Morgan Fairchild. How old is Morgan? Morgan Fairchild age. She's only 75. She's younger than Dolly Parton. None of us. Hey, look, it's very evident. None of us know what the fuck we're talking about. Rabbi Smoothie says for Dolly Parton.
Rest now, brother. We have the watch.
No.
And I'll see you in Valhalla.
You don't want to. No, we're not going to see Dolly Parton in Valhalla. You'll see her in Las Vegas. She's gonna be okay. Atomic Ray says Dolly hasn't met her goal. Of course, Godspeed to old big tits. She's gotta hit her goal. Keanu just texted me and said Buckle still exists. Oh, fuck you. Your ex-best friend loved that store. It was her favorite. What can I tell you? Yeah, just when Keanu thought she knew somebody. What are you going to do? All right, let's get into the Candace Owens thing because we've been giving Candace a little bit of shit this week, yesterday and today. We said, and I like Candace Owens, but we've been saying that she's not dealing out any of these receipts. She keeps threatening people at Turning Point USA. If you don't come clean about what you've done and if you don't tell the truth about Charlie and all this stuff, then I'm going to drop receipts. I've got receipts and I'm going to pull them. And it was exciting at first. You're like, oh my God, Candace ain't fucking around. 300,000 people are watching her show at a time. It's amazing the attention she's getting. And it seems like she really has something here. Well, then a week or two passes and we're like, okay, the viewership starts to creep under 200,000. And she's like, I've got receipts. And we're like, bullshit. You don't have receipts. This is all e-drama farming that you're doing. Well, yesterday, Candace Owens shut us the fuck up. And then on the flip side of that, Turning Point USA came out this morning and confirmed that indeed Candace Owens, what she revealed on her show was absolutely true. And it was factual. Candace Owens dropped the biggest checkmate in conservative media on Turning Point USA. Now, what she was in possession of, and I don't know who sent this to her, maybe a Charlie Kirk loyalist who was in the group chat, sent it to Candace and said, you got to show people this. But it's Charlie talking to the other Turning Point USA guys and other Israel supporters, basically telling them, I'm done being strong-armed by these people. So for those of us, when we watch these now, for those of us who had kind of backed off the idea, and I'm counting myself in this, that Israel had anything to do with the killing of Charlie Kirk, I got to jump back on that train after seeing that Benjamin Netanyahu letter where Charlie Kirk talks to Benjamin Netanyahu like he needs to fucking know something, which he doesn't like. We know that. And now after these Candace Owens texts, I think I got to jump back on that train. It sounds like what Charlie Kirk was guilty of was naivete. And I wish he wasn't dead because his attitude and his naivete is so refreshing. It's so nice. Charlie thought he could talk to these people straight up, honestly. They would do him the kindness of being honest with him back. They would be square dealing, and we could all have an open line of dialogue, an open line of communication. That was his whole thing. I think he was very blunt with these people. He expected them to be blunt back with him. I think Charlie was blunt with them, and I think they went around the back end and they killed him for what he was. Because, I mean, Charlie Kirk was the last guy, the last conservative who had the ear of young people who was pushing a pro-Israel message. Let's go to Candace Owens. This is the big receipt drop that she's been talking about.
And others knew that Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week.
See, she's a mad woman. And by the way, people have been saying, oh, come on. Why wouldn't they kill Candace? Why wouldn't they kill Nick Fuentes? Because it's too obvious. Everyone would suspect them right away. With Charlie Kirk, you can say he was a supporter. And plus, Charlie's a dangerous voice because Charlie is an apostate. If he does decide he's going outside the Israel plantation, now he's an apostate. They lost a Christian, a conservative, a guy who would kiss some Zionist ass. Candace Owens, sun's up, the rooster's crowing. There's, what can you do? Damage is done. Nick Fuentes, same thing. I mean, not even everyone who watches this show exactly knows who Nick Fuentes is. He's very popular in a very small niche corner. So they don't need, but Charlie Kirk, he was operating on a different level. And Nick Fuentes isn't operating with Jewish donors. Nick Fuentes isn't operating by people who give him money and are tied to Israel. Same with Candace Owens. Charlie was.
But I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing. Take a look.
Rob, by the way, is he's a Turning Point USA guy.
So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace.
So this is what you're kind of getting an insight into Charlie Kirk's behind the scenes attitude. And I have to say, it makes me like Charlie Kirk more because he goes, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. So even in the midst of losing $2 million, and I don't care how much money your organization brings in, $2 million is $2 million. It's a lot of money. And he's that loyal to people he likes, and he liked and he respected Tucker Carlson. But not only did he like and respect Tucker so much that he would forego $2 million, he also doubled down, said, fuck them, I'll bring Candace back. Because Candace started at Turning Point USA. He said, I'll bring Candace Owens back, we'll reunite, we'll do some speaking events like Rob Schneider and I do together. So I like that, people tried to push him around. And Charlie went, oh, not only am I not going to do what you're telling me to do, but I'm going to bring another person you don't like in here. Fuck you.
But he writes, Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this.
Charlie was, and he said this on Megyn Kelly, he had it with being called anti-Semitic because he criticized Israel. Like all of us. All of us have fucking had it with the anti-Semitic bullshit. Shove it up your fucking ass. I don't care about Jewish people. I don't care about a Jew walking down the street or a Jew over there. I don't care. I care about a Zionist regime committing genocide in the Middle East. And if you want to ally yourself with that, then you fucking bear that mud on your soul. Don't try to cope by calling me anti-Semitic. I'm going to call out people committing genocide. If they're Nazis, they're Nazis. If they're Jews, they're Jews.
Leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause.
So there we go. I'll let this go a little more. I'll stop pausing so much. I apologize. But so Charlie has now said a Jewish donor left because I won't disavow Tucker. I'm thinking of bringing Candace in as a fuck you. These Jewish donors are playing into all the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this. So basically, he's saying this is old school Meyer Lansky, Murder Inc. mafia tactics. Like, here's this, we're taking away this $2 million. Otherwise, you say goodbye to this guy. I'm not saying goodbye to this guy. Well, who's to say that these stereotypes were, nice career you got here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. Leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. So he was out. I mean, this is known. There are 9 people in here. What's his name? Justin Hammer or Joshua Hammer or whatever. Big time pro-Israel guy. Huge into Israel. Was at Turning Point USA's debate thing, talking to Dave Smith about Israel-Palestine. All these guys are in on this conversation. You don't think this got back to Bibi? You don't think this got back to high-ranking people? That he's saying, I'm out. I'm out of here with this pro-Israel cause. I'm leaving. I can't do this anymore. And by the way, how many nefarious murders, how many murders of business partners or spouses or whatever, we end up finding out that it was an inside job because we end up finding out some kind of information that this person wanted out of either a business or a relationship or whatever. And if we can't have them, then nobody can.
And somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again, this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text.
Yeah, I now totally believe Candace Owens on this Bill Ackman intervention they had for Charlie Kirk in the Hamptons, where they said, you're going to lose a lot of money if you don't back off this shit you're talking. And if you don't disassociate with Tucker, Candace, people like that, people he respected, people he liked. So Charlie was a loyal guy. Charlie was not stubborn. He was a driven guy, and maybe a little naive that he thought these people were his friends. These people, it seems like managers in music or acting or sports, they seem like your friend when you're drawing money and doing things their way. And Candace knows this very well from her time at the Daily Wire. When you stop doing things their way, all of a sudden they don't talk so friendly to you. They talk in a very manipulative manner. Like, Candace might feel good short term, but you got to think about the long term, Charlie. It's that pesky free will thing that God gave us, and like this passive aggressive sleight of hand manipulation shit that they're doing to Charlie. I don't think it would work on the guy. But now between that and the letter he wrote Netanyahu, and now you got this Bill Ackman conference in the Hamptons, which I totally believe happened now, I'm firmly back on the bandwagon that some kind of pro-Zionist group organized Charlie Kirk's murder or facilitated it in some way, shape, or form. And now look at Turning Point USA, singing the praises of Israel, taking Jewish donations. I mean, they have completely, these rats have taken over Charlie Kirk's creation, and they are bastardizing it by the minute. Erica Kirk with her father, who's the chair of Raytheon for Israel. It's another one of those things where I didn't trust my gut. Fans, I think SP said it. Somebody else said it to me. A few people said it. They go, she's not a grieving widow. Like, she doesn't seem like a grieving widow. This seems off. There's something weird going on here with Erica Kirk. And now it's back to business as usual. And you know what the grossest part is? We have these texts that Charlie was out on the Israel thing, that he thought it was immoral, that he thought it was wrong. He felt he was being bullied. He felt they were acting stereotypical. You know what the grossest part is? These demons, some of them who were probably in on this group text message, have been sitting in Charlie's chair. They're running Turning Point now, and they're taking positions, invoking Charlie's name, knowing that they read in black and white on text that Charlie wasn't about that shit. It's fucking gross.
Thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer.
Yes, see, this is why I like receipt dropping Candace. Do this. I don't like that she edges us all the time and she waits. You know what? Josh Hammer, fuck it. I like that. Go with that impulse. I mean, maybe you should have thought twice before you went, you know what? I disagree with myself. Macron's got a cock. That could have saved you some time and effort, but I like that. No, Josh Hammer was one of the people on there. Come on, honey, drop the rest of them. They ain't going to kill you. You were never in their camp. They only shoot inside the tent.
He's on this chat, okay?
You're useful. Actually, Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes are useful to the Zionist cause because the Zionists can point to Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes and they can go, see, that's anti-Semitism. See, that's the enemy. See, these people want us killed. They want that. They want to be able to use that and say, we're the victim. We're under attack. Look at you. You kill Candace Owens. You kill Nick Fuentes. You make him a martyr. People go, maybe there's something to what they're saying. Those two are much more valuable to Israel and Zionism in general, alive, saying what they're saying.
So what are we to make of that? Okay, now that I'm showing you this and showing to you that the conversations were real, I want you to reflect, and it took me a lot of patience to allow the lies that were being woven and the misrepresentations. of people that were pretending that I was just, high on lying about Charlie and the pressure he was under, the attacks that not just me, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly faced for trying to stand up and tell the truth about what Charlie was actually going through. Why are you hearing it, though, from me and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly? Isn't that weird? You got people that are hosting a show. Have they, in like one honorable thing, come out and said, like, you know what? F a couple of these donors who made his life a living hell.
Yeah, they haven't. In fact, we're going to play a clip of Charlie's toadies and lackeys from Turning Point USA who are picking his bones as we speak and rifling through his pockets in his grave. They're going to address this, and they're going to act like it's a good thing that these text messages got out, and they're going to spin it as a pro-Israel thing. Again, they're going to use Charlie's corpse, reanimate it, and put a Star of David on the damn thing.
In the last couple of weeks. Why haven't they done that? There's also a rabbi in that chat. Like, why hasn't anybody
there's a rabbi in that
made that move?
Rabbi Shmuel, please let it be Rabbi Shmuley. Please let it be that fucking psychopath, Rabbi Shmuley.
To at least say, to vindicate what I have been saying about what he was going through, that registers to me as very suspicious. I'm going to frankly say that.
We got a word for that where I come from. It's called suspicious. You know where I come from? Yes, where is that exactly? Manorville, Tennessee. See, when we engage in what the government calls bootlicking, but we call it making a little money for your family on the side selling some moonshine liquor, it behooves one to keep his wits. We hear a deal that's too good to be true. It ain't.
It's suspicious to me. It makes me think that in the same way that Charlie was being pressured by money, that you might be now run by that same money, that those same donors.
Ooh, that's a bingo. Is that how you say it? That's a bingo? You just say bingo. Bingo! Wow, fun.
Might be running you to correct the ship. And
some men run their house. Some men run around their house. The new Turning Point USA guys, Daily Wire South, they run around their house. Charlie Kirk ran his house.
To focus yourselves on eulogizing Charlie as something and someone that never once flinched, never once for a single second doubted the Israeli cause.
He said in a text message 48 hours before he died, he's out. He's done. I didn't know that your Zionist support of Israel was blood in, blood out, but apparently for Charlie it was. I hope she keeps dropping names. I think that would be awesome. I think she's on right now. So I think she might, I mean, Candace still might be dropping names. Let's see. Let's go on the old X machine and see what she's saying. Candace Owens. A lot of people owe Candace Owens an apology. All right, that's already the clip. 23 hours ago, October 6th. All right, so it doesn't, okay, so it doesn't look like we have anything new from Candace. But, oh, wait, hold on. 1 hour ago. Holy shit. We got more. Hold on, guys. We got more Candace Owens. This was an hour ago on her program.
One more thing rather explosively. 3 people told me off record. 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie. One who is a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill me. Okay. He did not express that to me. So I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good will be inspired to come forward with that. Now, again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping...
I love Candace, and I love Candace for this reason. I didn't get a journalism major, but I took journalism classes. It's part of a broadcasting and communications degree. Off record means it's off record. You don't acknowledge that the conversation took place. You don't report. What you're saying is you honor anonymity. That's what you're saying. You're not honoring off the record. If they said off the record, you shouldn't be talking about it on your show. You're respecting their anonymity. That's a different thing. You're still telling their story. You're just not putting their name on it. You're a tricky little bitch. I mean that with all due respect.
That watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, they will be brave and they will say,
boy, between 9/10 and 9/11 every year, we're going to be running out of false flags.
Yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed, and maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they?
Well,
who is the they that he thought were going to kill him?
Nick, you want to go ahead and tell him? Well, I'll tell you. He means that Jones. Come on. She's going to keep dropping more and more of these. I really hope people continue to leak information to her, and then I hope they see her not get her head blown up like a watermelon. And that had nothing to do with her race, by the way. And they decide to come forward, and they decide to drop some truth bombs of their own. I think that would be great. Let's go ahead and catch up on a couple of these before we go to Turning Point USA's response, which was to say these texts are 100% real, and then to listen to Turning Point USA start shilling and using Charlie's name to spin those text messages. First, Ablo Pacheco with $1 says, remember that link that I sent you last week regarding the Daily Wire donating money to Turning Point? Do you buy into it now? Yeah, they said it was like a tribute to Charlie. Daily Wire gave $1 million to Turning Point USA. I think there's a message attached to that. $2 from Redbird says, Aaron missing red flags in a woman? Say it ain't so. What, Candace Owens? Did I say I was missing red flags in Candace? Candace is dogged, man. She got that dog in her. Old Candace Owens. Oh, my God. She won't be killed, says Joey Caravello. Black conservatives will go mental. Also, I do think that Candace Owens actually serves a purpose for Zionists in that they can point at her and they can go, look at that. Look at the hatred we face. Look at the bigotry we face on a regular basis. Tilt One says, what do you think Charlie told Erica in private? She must know a ton of shit, yet she is silent. Well, here, just again, Erica Kirk, father, Raytheon. If you just search that, Carl Kenneth Francevy. That's all you got to do is take a look at Kenneth. Who is Carl Kenneth Francevy? Born in 1922. Died at the age of 9. So he just died recently. And he was the head of... Come on, keep going. Where is it? Wow, in the Hindustan Times, they don't put the... They really aren't... They're not putting his work with Raytheon. Who is this? The Hindustan Times? They completely left that part out. Holy shit. Here we go. Some people are trying to say that he's royalty. He's not. He's not royalty. Her father's role at Raytheon's Israeli division, overseeing the Iron Dome. So he was one of those guys. He retired in the early 2000s. Okay. So he was one of the guys. Wait a minute. How does that work? Erica Kirk is in her mid-30s. How would she have a dad who died at 90-something? That's... That's not her father. No. That doesn't check out. Her grandfather was Carl Kenneth Fransby. I thought that was weird. I'm like, no. She didn't have a dad who died. Because I was like, he wouldn't be. Her father is involved with Raytheon. He's still involved with Raytheon Israel. Okay. Boy, there's not a lot on Google, though. They're pretty mum on that. They're pretty mum on this whole... There's not a lot of information on Erica Kirk's father. Kent Fransby Raytheon. Collaboration. He works with companies like Raytheon on missile defense systems, chairing Raytheon's Israeli division. And there's just not a lot. I only get like 2 or 3 things. This is weird. That's very, very strange. Joey Caravello with $5 says, this is how you should treat pets. We'll get to that in a little bit. Thank you, Joey Caravello. All right, let's get to Turning Point USA's response to what Candace Owens had to say. This is asshole face. Andrew Colvett, who I think better known as asshole face. Andrew Colvett is the guy who's been covering up a lot of the shady shit around Charlie since this whole thing went down. Let's put him up on the screen there. This is him responding to Candace Owens releasing this group text where Charlie Kirk said, we lost another $2 million because I won't disavow Tucker. These Jewish donors are behaving like stereotypes. I'm done with Israel. Well, Erica Kirk's the CEO. Andrew Colvett is like Charlie's second in command. This is what Andrew Colvett had to say about the text messages that Candace Owens released.
Charlie was loyal to people that he had shared history with, right? He was asked, I think this may be what you were about to say, Blake. He was asked about Candace before in public, and he would always say, listen, we're friends. He would never say an ill word about her. And if people, tried to force him to do that about Tucker or whatever, he would always be defiant because he didn't want to be morally blackmailed.
Exactly. Charlie was loyal to people who had ever been friends to him, whether it was very old donors or just people who had worked with Turning Point.
Yep.
And as long as they were not attacking him, he would not air any dirty laundry or, frankly, any disagreements he had with people. He did disagree with Candace on the Israel issue. He disagreed with Tucker.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Oh, you pieces of shit. You notice Candace Owens brought receipts. She brought text messages, him saying, I'm done with Israel. He's talking to Megyn Kelly. We have it recorded. It's on a show. It's broadcast where he says, I'm tired of being called an anti-Semite by Jewish people when I've supported Israel forever. And only just now am I starting to ask questions because, I wasn't Charlie Kirk the one who said, I believe that they allowed October 7th to happen. He says, I know Mossad. I know their intelligence agency. Nothing gets across that border without them knowing. They had to have allowed October 7th to happen. Charlie said that. That's documented. It's proven. He was on Megyn Kelly's show saying that he resented being called anti-Semitic. He was sending these texts 2 days before his death, said, I'm done with Israel. And these pieces of rat shit are on his show, the show bearing his name, rewriting history, reanimating Charlie's corpse, and putting a fucking IDF stamp on it. Oh, I don't like these two. And again, I was backing off the whole coup d'etat thing. I was backing off the whole maybe the Israelis had something to do with this. I'm starting to think that this was a co-main event sponsored by Turning Point USA. This was a Caesar moment. This was Et tu, Brute, Et tu, Colvey, teamed up with Mossad and the IDF. I think the United States intelligence services were completely left out of this thing. I do. But I think these two knew something because Charlie's body wasn't even cold yet, and they're starting to rewrite his history as he loves Israel. He loves Netanyahu. They were buddies. Taking $1 million from the Daily Wire the day after he dies. I've had loved ones die. I never handed their family members $1 million. And I would think if I did, I might come back asking for a favor at some point. You gave someone that much money. But these two are coming out there. Oh, yeah. Oh, Charlie, he was just a really loyal guy. He was nice. He disagreed on with Candace and Tucker on Israel big time. Well, in these texts, he says he's done.
On the Israel issue. But he also recognized Tucker had positions they agreed on. Tucker was a useful voice in the conservative movement on many things. And so he invited him to events, and, they were popular events. And so he would react. Sometimes people would just say, yeah, don't invite him, or we're going to, cut off some large donation. And that would make him angry. He would say this, as you say, this is moral blackmail.
So we're acknowledging the text messages are real. He would get mad. They're treating Charlie like a kid. Oh, he would get mad when they pulled $2 million off the table, and he would kind of fly off the handle, but he didn't mean it. It's like they're explaining away an abusive partner.
And he's this Scottish guy. He's combative. His reaction to that is, the classic screw me, no, screw you. That sort of thing.
Right. And what I'm saying is, let me see under your fingernails. Let me see under this guy's fingernails, because I think you might have some dirt under there. I don't believe you. I believe Charlie was mad about that $2 million and other Jewish donors morally blackmailing him because he dared to talk to Tucker Carlson. I believe he did voice. I agree with these guys. He was very open and very blunt. What I'm saying is all of yous used it to get him killed. Because now you guys are out here whitewashing his legacy and acting like Netanyahu's Trump.
One of my favorite parts about Charlie is just how defiant and independent he was.
Yeah,
he was never going to
He could not be controlled by other people.
You could not buy him. He was not bought and paid for. You could not control him with money. It just wasn't the way he was wired. He didn't actually care about money that much.
And so what's going on here? What is going on here?
So can we put 2 and 2 together, boys? Can we put 2 and 2 together?
Here, you guys can look up what the text say. What is going on is Charlie...
Some guy with a furry trans girlfriend just snapped one day and said, this guy said some lukewarm, shitty things about trans people, so I'm going to take old Grandpappy's 30-06 and I'm going to shoot him in the neck from a rooftop. Okay, that's one possibility. Or we keep pulling money out of this fucking guy. He keeps telling us, no, he's not returning our calls. He has the audacity to write us a fucking letter and tell us what side of the fucking toilet we need his shit in. We took $2 million away from him, and not only does he say, fuck you, I'm platforming Tucker, but I'm going to bring Candace Owens back? Fuck us, fuck you. I don't know. Tyler Robinson had one shifty reason to shoot Charlie Kirk, and that was he didn't like the political things he said. The donor class and the Israelis had at least 2 million reasons to kill Charlie Kirk. And you two, the way you're talking and the way you're whitewashing history, maybe you two thought that you should be more powerful at Turning Point USA. What did you know?
As I mentioned, he loved Israel. He cared about Israel. He cared about the Holy Land.
Wow.
And he was aware there was a surge of anti-Israel sentiment on the right. Charlie thought seriously about this issue and was trying to chart a path forward for people who were sympathetic to Israel. He was playing the good cop here. He was saying...
He was done. It's in writing. He was done. He was criticizing them. He was tired of being called an anti-Semite. He said, I'm not on Israel's side anymore.
You guys don't realize how bad it could potentially get. Mm-hmm. You have to change your PR. That's why he writes a letter to Bibi. You are losing the PR war. You need to change how you do your PR. You need to change your messaging to the American right. You might need to change what you expect from us, that you're not going to...
And Netanyahu said, how about I just shoot you and have Larry Ellison buy TikTok? That sounds a lot easier for me and way less of a headache. Why don't I just cap the goy and buy TikTok?
Be able to count on just, for example, unlimited military aid from America. That's just not going to be tenable going forward. So maybe it has to be a more passive relationship. Maybe you need to give more support towards America. Some more support towards America in, for example, opposing Islamic migration into America. That's one thing he thought
So like these two are talking me into an Israeli hit on Charlie Kirk more than anybody else, more than Candace Owens is. All right, so this is like any other mob hit. It's over money. Every mob hit is about money. And we were talking about millions of dollars in geopolitical influence and the hearts and minds of young American conservatives. Now you guys are convincing me that's why he was whacked. I mean, how did Israel start out in 1948? Who was gun running to Israel? Who was arming the Israeli militias? Bugsy Siegel and Meyer Lansky. Jewish Mafia. Murder Inc. I mean, did America ever really get that far from its mafia roots? Has Southern Italy gotten very far from its mafia roots? Israel's got a lot of mafia roots.
Could ally on. And he was trying to do all of this because he cared about the relationship and wanted to chart a way forward on it. And he would feel angry and upset when people would react to this by blowing up and suggesting he was an anti-Semite or a hater. He would get angry about that because he knew it was untrue. And then he would sometimes vent about this.
Yeah.
He would vent about this to people who understood that, who were pro-Israel people who shared his view on that issue.
Well, exactly.
Well, that's not what we saw in the text messages. We saw, fuck these people. I'm inviting Kansas to an event. These Jewish donors act like the stereotype. I'm done. I'm not on Israel's side anymore. He said it in the message.
And just why I didn't share this publicly, it was because this was a private message between Charlie and some people, some Jews and non-Jews, where
it got in the way of the grift. Just say it. It got in the way of the grift because you guys are reanimating Charlie's corpse to make him a pro-Netanyahu guy.
He was, frustrated. He was frustrated. And that would have felt like a betrayal to my friend because he never said anything like that publicly in like a show, right? He said things with Meghan.
Well, he didn't get a chance to. 2 days after he said it, let's go ahead and say it. I think you guys helped have him whacked. That's why he didn't say it publicly. Now it's in writing. Now people can say it publicly.
That were we just played them. I went on Alex Clark's show and I felt like I did a faithful job of expressing what I believed his genuine feelings were.
Right. That's what you guys are going to do. That's how you guys are going to continue to make money over at Turning Point USA. You're going to turn Charlie Kirk into a mascot for shit he wasn't a mascot for. And hopefully there's more brave people who continue to come forward and go, no. We have the receipts. It wasn't like that. You guys are being evil. I hope so. I hope people continue to do that. That would be really, really good. Redbird with $5 says, very hurt you didn't tell us you were a member of the Texas National Guard. We'll get to that in a second. $2 from Joey Caravello says, do you think Johnny would go to Israel? Do you think Johnny would go to Israel because he knows they spit on Christians and he's into that? I don't know. That's so off the beaten path. Tilt says, this is like a Shakespearean play as old as time. Papa Shab says, the millionaires of yesterday are the billionaires of today adjusted for inflation. The J-Mob was loaded. In fact, that is why they still exist in various forms. Ablo Pacheco says, translation, how dare you air out all our dirty laundry in public? If my assumptions are true, may they all burn in hell. These guys are not above my suspicion. The Colvett and whoever that other guy was, the way they're talking. Kevin Soundboard says Erica was definitely involved too. That, I will say this, that's just a bridge too far for me at this point. But as the days go on, boy, she hit the ground running with that turning point, didn't she? Naming herself the CEO, having a clear, concise path forward, booking the rest of the Turning Point college schedule a week or two after her husband's death. I don't know, man. It's odd. It's really, really strange. And I don't have an answer for it other than maybe they're all in on it. Maybe they all had something to do with it. Now, wait a minute. None of those guys are members. None of them are me. Members of the Texas National Guard have arrived in Illinois, according to sources familiar with their whereabouts, and video taken of them at an Army Reserve training facility in a Chicago suburb. Oh my God, they're all John Candy in stripes. Holy shit. They are not me, though. That is a myth. That is not factual. How dare you? So Governor Abbott in Texas gave Trump Texas National Guardsmen to command and do as he pleases, and Trump said, I'm going to send him to Chicago. A judge yesterday shot down Trump taking National Guard troops from California against Gavin Newsom's will and wanted to send them to Portland. A judge now shot that down. It's odd. Das Optic Nerve says those aren't Aaron. They ain't fat enough. That's not very nice. That's not very nice at all. Atomic Ray says, hey, Toe, calm the fuck down. Most of us put on masks and stood 6 feet away from each other from misinformation. Erica may have been fed some misinformation. What misinformation? I don't know what you mean. I'm just saying she seemed really ambitious from the jump. And maybe that's, everybody's different. Look, man, based on what many other people have been saying about this, I've been incredibly restrained. I've given a lot of people the benefit of the doubt. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to gaslight myself and make myself crazy when A plus B equals C and A and B show up right in front of my face. I'm not going to say it equals L. I mean, I've seen a lot more connecting tissue to the idea that somebody else had Charlie Kirk killed than Tyler Robinson acted alone. The autopsy reports that we're rumored to be hearing, I mean, the path that they claim the bullet took to stick kind of at the base of his neck, it doesn't make any sense. It would have had to go through Charlie's face. They say that the bullet initially hit the C2 vertebrae in his neck. That it hit the C2, went down to like the C7, and then got lodged down in his neck. In order to hit the C2, which is somewhere up here, and to shoot from a rooftop while Charlie's like this, you can't get a bullet to hit the C2 from there. The bullet would have had to come from the roof, hit Charlie in the teeth, go down to the C2, hit the C7, and then lodge. It doesn't make... Do you guys want to watch that tonight? I've got that set up for tomorrow. And someone in the chat says, like, you know anything about firearms, Toe. I'm quoting my boy Valhalla VFT. When I don't know shit, I watch people who know shit, and I repeat the shit they say. Kevin Soundboard says also no blood spatter on the large all-white tent. Well, did we get a really good look at it? Did we get a good look at it? Atomic Ray says, nah, save it for tomorrow. It's going to go long. All right. Maybe. His head went backward. No, his head went backward once he was hit. But in order to get, again, we'll play it tomorrow on the program. Dead Game says that shot was right to left, exit left. Who the hell knows, right? Who the hell knows? You guys are $85 away from next Monday's evening show goal. Thank you so much. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Super Chats, and Rumble Rants. Do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow. We appreciate you boys and girls being here. Holy ass, over 300 again. Yes! Back to normal, back to over 300 for the Toe. Thank you, guys. There we go. The B Show is picking its numbers back up. Like I said, hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow. $2 from Loaded Wrench. He says, seen where J.D. Vance is actually Paul Walker? What do you think? I don't think he's Paul Walker. I don't. Jelly for the Smelly says, the shooter's texts don't make any sense. He says, I don't want to involve you in this, yet he left a note saying he did it. Yeah, and he messages her. It's odd. James says, no blood trail to SUV. It's an episode of Punk'd. He now lives on Elvis Tupac Island. So I don't think Charlie Kirk lives on Elvis Tupac Island. Matt is in the chat. He says, James, you're an idiot. I mean, that could be true. You ever shoot a deer? There ain't no blood from where it bleeds out to where you move it to next. He had no more blood to leak out, bud. Stop spurging out, stupid. Well, let's we could fight about that. You know what? I think we need a little bit of the Valhalla video. We can do this for both shows. People seem to be into this particular topic tonight. So here, let's open up a little bit of the Valhalla video. I like this guy. I trust this guy. I think he's very, very good. So this is the some of the details of the autopsy report are coming out now. And Valhalla, is it Valhalla VFT? Yeah, Valhalla VFT. Very good channel. He knows a lot of this stuff. I trust him.
The bullet lodged in his body. They can tell you exactly where, what was severed, what killed him, where the bullet traveled from his neck down through his body. They have it all fragmented.
His what? Oh, his neck. Oh, sorry. I just
fragmentation of the round that spouted through his body. They have all of that.
Okay, they have it all. They've got it proved. Let's see if this even works mathematically or scientifically. Let's jump into it. All right, guys. So basically a middle school math problem.
So look, bullet hits the C2 vertebrae. That's the C2 vertebrae. You're shooting from a rooftop, and the guy's sitting in a chair. I mean, how the fuck are you hitting the C2 vertebrae without going through his face?
Isn't that hard to figure out? We know that, according to the medical examiner report, this 30-06 round came in, hit him in the C2, traveled down. All right, you guys are going to notice some huge problems with this right away, but let's go ahead and, just look at this objectively. All right, we got a protractor out. Let's put that right here on the C2. Okay, we do know, again, from where Tyler Robinson was shooting, it was a 9-degree slope with a 9-degree offset, essentially meaning almost directly on at a 9-degree slope, which we can travel out from our protractor from the C2 here at 9 degrees. Perfect. All right, as we pull the protractor off, what's the first huge glaring issue you guys are going to see here? Oh, well, if Charlie...
In order for that thing to straight up hit him in the C2, Charlie would have to have been looking straight up.
Kirk was sitting level, sort of parallel to the ground with his jaw, which he was. Let me show you that real quick. All right, so we can see Charlie Kirk is not, got his head all the way back.
Yeah, you ain't hitting that C2 without going through his face.
Like this, he's sitting pretty much flat, looking at the crowd, sort of jaw parallel to the ground as he gets hit. Boom, hit. So you can see that, right? It's actually a little bit of a tilt down even, okay? So let's look at this anatomically. All right, this is essentially exactly how Charlie Kirk is sitting. And they want to tell you the medical examiner report confirms he was first hit in the C2 vertebrae right below the base of the skull. Biggest problem I see with that from the angle Tyler Robinson shoots him from is that would have hit him in the teeth or even above the teeth. There is no possible way that this round came from a 9-degree angle and a 9-degree slope.
Now, this does... Could it have come from his lapel mic down here into a C2? Yeah, but it's not going to launch a bullet. It's going to just explode and launch shrapnel into his neck. So that, I don't know about the exploding lapel mic. Somebody takes a shot from the side. You could hit the C2 vertebrae, sure. But I'm having a hard time. Maybe Derek from Midland Armory can let me know. I don't think you can hit the C2 vertebrae straight on from a 9-degree slope. It doesn't look possible. Now, again, people get mad at you for just pointing this stuff out. People get mad at you for entertaining this stuff. They're like, yeah, it's bullshit. Please tell me a better idea. I'm not married to this. This just makes the most sense to me. The best person to talk to is a dumb guy who's having it explained to him. Because when a dumb guy has it explained to him, he doesn't have any inherent biases. He doesn't have anything he's looking to defend. He's going, I don't know what the fuck happened here. I don't know a lot about shooting trajectories and bullets and stuff like that. Fill me in. And this Valhalla VFT guy, who I submit to completely because he's very knowledgeable on ballistics and stuff like this, he's breaking it down, and he's breaking it down in a lot more understandable way than Kash Patel, than Spencer Cox, than anybody else who's been involved in this whole thing.
And hit the C2 while not blowing through Charlie Kirk's face. It's not a thing. We also can see the C2 is not where that gunshot wound is. I can show you that right here. All right.
Let's not look at the gunshot wound.
As you can see here, yeah, he's got some tilt back now after he's been hit. But that round, sorry for my beard, that round is 2-3 inches below his chin. Okay, this round is not all the way up, just underneath the base of the jaw. It's pretty far down. I would say that's closer to the C4 or the C5 to where that round, to me, looks like he got hit. So big problems right away with this medical examiner report, but let's keep looking at this. All right, so we know this is not possible. Okay, this definitely didn't happen. But if we look at the actual sort of injury to Kirk, looks like he's shot closer to about right here, okay, on that on the left right side of the neck.
Well, his left.
Now, if we look at it this way, now we can make this work for the location of the shot if it enters and hits the C5, but that's not what they're saying. They're saying it hit the C2, traveled down all his vertebrae. It doesn't work. Next thing with this, we're talking about a 30-06 round. Right now you have this 30-06 round traveling at 24 to 2,700 feet per second, or even less, doesn't even matter. Hits him, let's say, hits him in the C2, if this magic bullet that doesn't go through his face somehow. That then refracts straight down into the T1. Yeah, that's not what a 30-06 round is going to do if it hits a human neck vertebrae. We know it's going to blow right through. But even if there was some weird refraction, bullets aren't going to refract almost 90 degrees. We've talked about that. And then keep their actual velocity to be able to do that much damage. Not really a thing. Again, so with just basic middle school math, we already disproved this whole medical examiner's report, or the fact that the shot was taken from where it was taken, a 90-degree slope from straight on. Charlie Kirk sitting flat, parallel chin to the ground. Not possible. It would have hit him in the teeth. Not 5 inches lower than the teeth. It's not a thing. So because we know that's not possible, if we're assuming the medical examiner report is true and accurate, now we have to look at alternatives to how this could have taken place. Okay, so let's talk about a few. All right, so I've seen a bunch of different people talking about now, because of this report, this has to prove that Charlie Kirk had body armor, because again, this is...
he had no body armor. That... It would be the thinnest body armor in the world, and a 30-06 round would have, it been like scissors to a paper doll.
An impossible shot. It's an impossible angle that it didn't hit him in the face, which, okay, that's kind of an interesting theory, but let's talk about that, all right? Now we're talking about body armor, which, again, is going to be down here on the chest. Again, 9-degree slope. This is still where the shot came from. Here's the entrance wound. Okay, let's talk about the possibility that the bullet refracted off his body armor. First, let's also make sure that we acknowledge it's been disproven he had body armor on. And not only that, TPUSA has publicly stated he had no body armor on. So if you're going to operate under the assumption he has body armor on, you are calling TPUSA nefarious liars.
I have no problem with that part. I have no problem. I mean, Turning Point USA has completely bastardized where Charlie Kirk was at on a bunch of issues to use it to shore up their donor support and get certain people back on their side. So I have no problem believing that Turning Point USA is bullshitting me completely.
I'm not prepared.
They have showed that they have no problem stepping over Charlie's corpse in order to protect themselves.
To do that, because why would they purposefully lie about him having body armor on? That seems bizarre to me. But hypothetically, TPUSA is lying about this and he had body armor on. Let's look at it. Now, we're still talking about a 30-06 round, okay? A 30-06 round that supposedly comes down, hits him in the body armor, which, by the way, if he had body armor on so small that you couldn't see it through that tiny little shirt, it wouldn't be strong enough to stop a 30-06 round to begin with. But we're in hypothetics here. That then, okay, this almost makes me laugh doing this. That then refracts off the body armor, comes all the way up here at a 90-degree angle to hit this C2, and then re-refracts
Yeah.
straight back down.
That's a bouncy ass bullet,
Down to
dude.
the T1.
That bullet's a luchador. That thing's coming in. That's like a 619, bro. No way.
Guys, bullets are not pinballs. They
What?
don't do this, okay? They refract and do weird things as they move through, but changing total direction in almost 180 degrees is not possible. This is Newtonian physics says that's not a thing, okay? So, again, I mean, even Rob O'Neill talks about body armor here, and it's actually what he talks about here is interesting because it actually is going to bring us into the next possibility.
But that was not an entry wound that we saw. We saw an exit wound. So where'd that bullet come from? You don't bleed like, and I've shot guys closer than the camera was. And an entry wound doesn't look like that. An exit wound does. Why did his shirt move the way it did? When I've shot people, their shirts didn't move like that. And then the initial reaction was, well, he was obviously.
It's the exit wound that causes all the movement, not the entrance wound. The bullet propulsion comes out of the body and pushes everything away from the bullet. So let's say you get shot in the head. The bullet comes through the back, it's going to push your head forward. That's why people are like, why did Kennedy's head go back into the left? Because the bullet came out the front right. So as the bullet comes out the front right, it's going to push the head back into the left. That's how that works. A bullet's propulsion will not pull you forward. All right, think of it in terms of, say, a jet engine. If a jet engine takes off right in front of your face, it's not going to pull your face in. It's going to push your face away. Same thing with a bullet. So, you're not going to go in the same direction that the bullet went. You're going to go, in Charlie's case, he went back. That would lead you to believe that something came out the front.
Wearing body armor and it was deflection. One, no. He wasn't wearing body armor. And two, it doesn't deflect like that off of body armor. Why was his shirt moving from right to left? Why were people being interviewed saying, yeah, they came from my left to right, from his right to left, immediately shut down?
Okay, so interesting. Yeah, the idea that we'll talk about rounds too, because people say, well, it depends on the round, the 30-06 round. The idea that body armor, that blasts off body armor, goes straight up, hits his neck, comes straight back down. It's not a thing. It's not physically possible, regardless of what anybody wants to tell you. Okay, based off of based off of the medical examiner report's injury, is it possible that a round refracts off body armor at an angle and comes up into his neck? Sure, but not at that extreme angle, and then definitely isn't reversing 180 degrees and keeping it.
One thing I like about this guy is he's extremely generous, and he doesn't call things just flat out retarded. Like, he's like, yeah, sure, but it's not going to do this, that, or the other thing. Whereas, if I had the knowledge he did, I'd go, this is fucking stupid. It didn't happen. I like that he entertains any hypothetical because it makes it stronger when you disprove it.
It's velocity. This is not how things work. All right, guys, before we jump back into that video, got to give a shout out to...
We don't have to. I mean, go buy the clothes.
So let's look at some things that make the medical examiner's supposed report work. Now, it also makes the narrative...
Look at this guy using supposedly and supposed properly. This is very rare.
...not work, but we're trying to figure this out, okay? So let's look at this. Again, we know he supposedly gets hit in the C2 first... by the medical examiner's report.
Unless that's off to the side. I mean, that's just not working with his face being there. Now, Random Bacon with $5 says Tyler was offset by 9 degrees, meaning the shot does come in slightly from the side. If Charlie turned his head, it might work, but probably not. Yeah, you still got jaw and shit. And I mean, you look at the hole in the front. It seems like that bullet hit him from the back.
Well, let's look at that. We know where the actual wound is, which is here. Okay. Well, we know it can't have come from that slope. Again, it goes straight through his teeth. Not a thing, unless his head was like literally all the way back. So what would it take for this round to have hit him where it hit him as an entrance wound and hit him in the C2 first? We can find that out pretty easily. We can start at the C2. We can come down with our angle here, and we can see that it actually would take a 38-degree upward.
You'd have to be on the ground
for this to have potentially hit him where it hit him and then also hit the C2 first if he was shot from the front. Does that make a whole lot of sense? Well,
wait a minute. If you take this and you drag it this way, hold on a minute. Just humor me here for a second. Just humor me here for a second. If you take this little stick and you move it this way to have a piece of shrapnel or a projectile hit him in the neck like that, isn't that kind of in the same spot a lapel mic would be? Maybe. But the thing is, a lapel mic, even if they rigged it to blow, is not going to fire a bullet.
Maybe if the tunnel theory works, I don't know. That one seemed weird at the time. And then also keep in mind, the round still has to travel then straight back down, which bullets don't do. They don't do this, okay, guys? You would expect a bullet to refract out this way, refract up this way. It's not going to reverse this massive direction back the other way, okay? So I'll make it very clear. If he was shot from the front, in the location he was shot, and it hit him in the C2 first, it had to have come from an upward angle. It could not have come from a
or a side angle, right? It could hit him in from the side.
Downward slope. It's not anatomically possible. But this makes other theories actually possible. Now, the really popular theory that Rob O'Neill just talked about, and Range Day Bros talked about, a lot of people have talked about, which I have not discounted at all, have talked about him being shot from up and behind him. This is very interesting because this actually, besides one little piece, which is that they found around inside of him, this actually potentially makes the medical examiner report work with the injury and ballistics that all potentially work. Let's take a look at that. The C2 is going to be just behind the jaw there, as we've seen it, right? Now, if he gets shot from the back upper right, and again, we don't know what that angle would be because this is all hypothetical, right? We don't know where that shooter was, but anywhere you would think around the way the buildings were, they're all about that height, anywhere from like a 10 to maybe 15 degree angle here. Now, all of a sudden, if he's getting shot in the back right of the head that comes beneath the skull, anatomically, this actually works. It comes in the back underneath his skull, hits him in the C2, and then blows out at a normal refraction angle exactly where we expect to see the exit wound in this case. That actually works perfectly, ballistically, anatomically, to have created that initial impact into the C2. It probably blows down here through the C4, does some damage through C5, C6, through C7 through cavitation. The biggest issue here is this is an exit wound, which means there would be no bullet found inside Charlie's body.
Right.
That goes against the medical examiner's report. All right, and then there's one final potential here, and that was actually brought forward by Peak Prosperity. This is a fantastic video if you haven't seen it either. And he actually had the theory that the shot came from technically the front, but from a much more drastic angle, almost like a 45-degree angle. So we can look at that here too. All right, now, so this theory states that it must have come from a far more horizontal angle.
45-degree angle. Holy shit.
Well, right. It's because the front angle doesn't work at all, which I agree with. To come maybe up underneath the jaw, even then it's going to be tough where this comes to get to the C2. I don't think you do. I still think you get in the C4, but to cause the actual damage at a much more steep angle, now all of a sudden the refraction as this comes in and comes through here, the refraction comes down and potentially works that way. That's actually a bullet refraction that makes sense. All right, but then the biggest problem we have with this is then this probably doesn't hit him in the C2 either. So where are we left? What's the problem? Well, the problem is that the official narrative with Tyler Robinson, where he took the shot from the angle he took the shot, like I told you at the start of the video, with the type of weapon that he used, is not possible and does not match the medical examiner's report anatomically or math.
See, I'm starting to have the same problems with the Charlie Kirk shooting that I have with the Las Vegas shooting. Give me a new story. I'm willing to believe something happened, but the story you're giving me is bullshit. It's completely useless. It doesn't play. It doesn't work. Tyler Robinson shooting him from straight ahead off of a roof. It doesn't work with the science that you're giving me, and I was always told to trust the science. So it's not working. You need to come up with a new theory. You need to come up with a new idea, and maybe, possibly, you have the wrong guy. Because what you're telling us about this Tyler Robinson, he couldn't have done it. It's just the ballistics of it do not work, or your medical examiner's wrong. One of the two, but between that and the text messages that Candace Owens is showing, I think any theory is back in play now. $5 from Random Bacon says the problem with these side shots is that you're putting all the people on the sides of Charlie in danger, especially if the round makes it through. That's that's kind of what I was thinking too with all these exit wound theories. It's like, really? We got no rounds like sorry, I'm updating some of the scores here. We got no rounds, nobody saw a round hit the ground, nobody was hitting the foot, nothing like that. It's just, you got to go back to the drawing board. You got to bring me something I can use, because if you're going to stick by this theory that, that you had a couple weeks ago with this Tyler Robinson, I'm sorry, you're covering something up. You're bullshitting us. You're being lazy. It reeks of the Las Vegas shooting. It reeks of the Las Vegas shooting. All right, let's catch up with some of these Rumble rants from a while ago. I'm way behind in the chat, and I apologize for that. $1 from Rabbi Smoothie says, just realized everything the government said in the last 125 years is bullshit, and you'll be on the right track. Well, you probably would win more money betting against the government's official story and all these things than betting for them. We also have $1 from Coltrane says, did he say hit the T vertebrae? Could have fragmented up and into the C1. Did it say it was a direct impact with C1? Medical examiner said it hit his C2 first. 191 Redbird with $1 says the last 5 minutes were irrationally infuriating. I'm not a ballistics expert, but I have shot a lot of animals, and that guy is a lying, grifting faggot that targets people like you with zero knowledge. I mean, it made sense to me. Shooting an animal is different than shooting a person, from what Hobo always calls me at 3 a.m. to tell me. If I shot you like I shoot deer, you'd suffer a lot longer. All right, dude, I'm sorry. It's 3 a.m. I got to get up in 2.5 hours to do a show. Can you stop doing this? Just wanted to let you know again, brother. That's all. Thank you, Hobo. Appreciate it. And I drained. Yes, you drained my blood from cutting both sides of my jugular vein. Got it, dude. This is I'd hang you upside down. You'd hang me upside down and you'd drain me like the cow that I am. Yes, I get it. Can I go back to bed? Fuck, he really is obnoxious, He doesn't stop fucking calling. I would cut the oyster. The oyster's off my back. Got it. I've seen Red Dragon too, Hobo. Fuck. Redbird says he's, with $1, says he's pulling these angles and numbers out of his ass. Where's the building height and location to get 9 degrees compared to the chair? No, that's in the medical examiner's report, Redbird. The medical examiner's report said that the shot was taken at a 9-degree angle. Fauci's Pangolin says he calls you too. I know, right? It's infuriating. It's infuriating to have Hobo just keep calling you. It's like, yes, we know what you're doing. We get it, buddy. But he's adamant that I know these things. Random Bacon says a 30-06 isn't leaving human vertebrae intact. That's what I hear a lot of people say. Matt says something isn't right here. I'll give you that, but it's not an episode of Punk'd, and he isn't on an island somewhere. Well, you're no fun. You're just no fun. $1 from Rabbi Smoothie says, why is there an exit wound if nothing exited? That's the other thing, is that the medical examiner said the bullet was lodged in there. So if the bullet is lodged in there, what are you going to do? You can't tell them that there's an exit wound if the medical examiner says, nope, it's in there. Taste Fairy Ialto says, does Hobo have a Jewish accent when he calls you? Because that would be hilarious. No, he does not. He does not have a Jewish accent when he calls. I need to know about this Johnny Cat thing now, because Gordy just came downstairs and he's fucking staring at me and it's bugging the shit out of me, and I'm sure he's got to go outside. Is that what it is? Do I have to turn on the music forever? We're kind of cooking tonight. You're lucky I'm not motivated by a goal this evening. I can take a little time. Because, I see Gordy down here, and I'm like, I could never punch Gordy. I could never. Come here, bud. Come here, Gordy. Oh, no, he's definitely got to go outside. He won't even come over here. Come here, bud. Come here. Come here, Gordy. Come on. Oh, no, he's shit scared of something. I don't know what's up with do you need to go potty? Oh, yeah. Okay, he just took off. Guys, I'm going to fire up the music. I'm going to let Gordy go potty, and I'll be right back in about 90 seconds. Talk amongst yourselves. I think we're about, 85 away from Monday's goal. Thank you guys very much. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow. We appreciate you being here. I'm coming, bud. I swear, I'm on my way. All right, I'm going to let Gordy out, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we're good. Welcome back. Gordy had to go potty. I had to punch him in the fucking head to get him to quiet down. I hope he didn't. Again, I hope he didn't punch that cat. I don't feel bad for the cat because cats are demons, but just kind of a sneaky thing, a fucking cripple to punch you in the face. It's not nice. Numero uno, Josh Denny fan says, poor dog. I always feel bad for dogs with big fat owners. I'm skinnier than all of you. I am skinnier than all of you. You know what? I'm tired of this shit. I could beat y'all up. Sounds so gay to say at 38 years old. I could beat all of you up. I could whoop all your asses. Fucking get over here. And you know what? I wouldn't even be sweating. I'd be sweating. I perspire quite a bit. Dell says, will Aaron shill for Israel? BB gives $7,000 per post. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. Did you guys see that one? Thank you for bringing that up. Israel, $7,000 per post. I would 1,000% do this. I would do $7,000 per post. I would make, I don't know what, 50 posts and then call her a day and get the fuck out of here. 10 is 70 times 5. That's 350 grand. Yeah, fuck. 50 posts. Yeah, that's.
So we had planned to make this segment about the potential interception of the Samud flotilla that is heading to Gaza.
This guy looks like Flop Sweat, by the way. He troubles me. Where's Cigar? I watch this show for Cigar.
That was expected to come.
I'll go back down in the corner.
Because
Sorry,
the flotilla has now entered
back in my cuck chair.
The nautical mileage space at which each flotilla before them has been intercepted by Israeli Navy.
Cigar's way less boring than you.
Incredible developments when it comes to the kind of propaganda side. So recently you had Netanyahu meeting with a bunch of influencers, which
I wasn't
and
invited.
He said, like, the way that we're going to respond to the problems that Israel's image is facing worldwide is we're going to have our influencers go out there and make the case on TikTok. And he also said the most important thing to do is to purchase TikTok. Like that was his word. And Larry Ellison, a close ally of Israel through Oracle, is indeed doing that. But so incredible discovery. It's in a FARA filing by Quincy Institute researcher Nick Cleveland.
I'm really sorry that this is the guy you guys have to hear this information from. This is the best I could do in a pinch. This guy is a nervous Nelly.
And put this C1 up on the screen. New document reveals the Israeli government paying a cohort of 14 to 18 social media influencers between $6,100 and $7,300 per post.
Fuck. Did you take that deal? I'd take that deal. Damn right. Damn good deal. I'd take it. 7,000. I mean, how shitty is your side, though? Think about that for a second. How shitty is your side? How awful is your side and your PR that you're like, say something nice about me? And people are like, no. And then you go, say something nice about me, I'll give you $100. And I go, no, I'm not going to do that. Say something nice about me, I'll give you $1,000. No. I'll give you $5,000 if you just, please, for the love of God, say something nice about me one time. Here's $5,000. It's in cash. I have it in my hand. Say something nice about me. No. All right, fine. $7,300. Say, all right, fine. I'll say something nice about you. Will you sing me happy birthday? No, not going to sing you happy birthday. All right, fine. Just write something nice, and that'll be fine. Let's get a real charismatic guy in here to talk about this.
If you see someone arguing in favor of Israel, they're probably a paid bitch of Israel.
Look at Cenk with his big old Turkish taffy nuts coming out here and calling them bitches.
So now you know.
But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefields in which we're
which means not the nukes that we're trying to tell the world we don't have.
Engaged. And the most
That's a pretty good Netanyahu.
And the most important purchase that is going on right now is TikTok. TikTok, number one. And I hope it goes.
Hey man, Miami Vice, #1 new show.
Because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one that's most important? X. X. How do we fight back?
Bank of America. Oh, sorry.
Influencers.
TMZ. Oh, sorry.
That community, they're very important.
That was Benjamin Netanyahu.
No, fuck that. I want Cenk. Where's Chinky Cenk? I don't want this fat retard. I want Cenk Uygur.
Nuggets. Okay, now we're going to get our message out with our influencers. Okay, now he's the prime minister of Israel. He's referring to influencers working on behalf of Israel.
Why do you have to pay him $7,000 per post? Didn't you just pay Barry Weiss $150 million to become the editor-in-chief of CBS News and write puff pieces for Israel? I mean, you paid enough. By the way, I looked into Barry Weiss's history. She was an opinion writer for the New York Times. She wasn't even a journalist. And then she latched onto that Rogan, that cringy intellectual dark web, that gay shit with Rubin and who's the oversensitive mathematician? Eric Weinstein or whatever. Oh, God, that was so awful. And she's never been a journalist in her life. And she started this little thing called the Free Press that nobody watches, but she'll shill for Israel, and she's on the internet. So Paramount gave her $150 million. They own it now, and she gets named the editor-in-chief of CBS News. It's the most transparent thing I've ever seen.
And and now that we know they're paying him about $7,000 per video, and we all view that as like normal. Now you substitute any other country and you'd be like, wait, what?
Qatar.
If the Chinese government came and said, oh, okay, now our Chinese influencers in this country will be paid $7,000 a pop to do pro-Chinese propaganda.
You got it, buddy. I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. $7,000 per post. Fuck. I do 2 shows a day. I put up 3 clips a day. There's gonna be a 3rd clip coming up tonight after the show. Fuck yeah.
Or pro-Saudi propaganda, right? The whole place would go nuts. Pro-Iranian propaganda, right? We're like, they're taking over our country.
I am here to say that Allah is the prophet of the one true God, Muhammad. I fucked that up. I got it backwards. They would have only given me $2,500 for that one. I could do any accent you need. I could advocate any position you want. $7,000. This audience knows that's a lot of goals. It's a lot of goals.
All right, Israel does it. They're like, you better not criticize. You better not criticize.
Or what?
You better not say.
Or what? You'll hit my C2 vertebrae?
That they're trying to get control of the media. He said it. He said it. All right, so.
You know what I love is like Jews always get mad when they're like, you guys kind of control the media. And they're like, no, we don't. Now say the opposite of that and we'll give you $7,000. You guys control the media. No, we don't. We just paid this Jewish lady $150 million to make sure she tells good stories about us. I think you guys control the media. That's incorrect. Now tweet you're sorry and I'll give you $7,000. Holy shit.
You can see, guys, it's an uneven battlefield. Like the left has almost no money. And then ironically,
Ironically, just Soros, the Jewish guy. I mean, at what point is this the Harlem Globetrotters against the Harlem Globetrotters?
Netanyahu says this all the time. Oh, it's the foreign governments that are influencing America. He literally says that. It's hilarious. It's the biggest projection I've ever seen in my life, right? And he's like, oh, well, they're
Dave Rubin pretended to be straight at one point. That's pretty bad.
Going through and they're funneling money into the country in different ways. No, they're not. Okay, he's talking about himself. He's telling himself. Project Esther started, as I told you earlier in the show, in a different.
All right, so you basically got it. I just wanted to see Chenk's, beaming liberal face one time on tonight's show. Yeah, $7,000 per post. $7,000 per post. I would make that deal. 100%. MSO says Barry Weiss from Storage Wars. No, not different. These are different people. Dell says that intellectual dark web is just gay Jews sucking each other off. Fair. Todd Buttshine says it's called money laundering. Well, that too. Jelly for the Smelly says you would take that deal and get fired quicker than Tim Dillon got fired from Riyadh. Did you guys see that old Billy Burr address the Riyadh thing? We can do that tonight. We can do the Bill Burr thing. I just have to write these down when I clip them. Our Saudi Arabia clip went fucking gangbusters today. I like it when we can get our hit out on the morning shows, on the first clips of the week. So if the other ones bomb and eat shit, it's okay. Like last week, we didn't have one hit till like Friday or Saturday. And I was like, fucker. But now, like, the one I posted yesterday or early this morning already hit to the tune of a couple grand, and it'll probably go up a few grand more. So I'm like, all right, we hit on that one, fully monetized. That's nice. Now the rest, playing with house money. You like to have one pop a week because it drives the subscribership numbers. Hit like. Hit subscribe, hit follow. We appreciate it. Let's go to old Billy Burr. This is from Kyle. This is from, what's Kyle's name? He used to be Saying Z. Unique. I love Unique. I think he does a great job. I'm glad he's back. But Bill Burr was not happy with the criticism he got for the Saudi Arabia thing, and he finally, he went off.
Going on, how are ya? Oh, geez.
Remember, guys, loud is funny. Loud is funny.
Says, how's it going in your neck of the woods there? It's not going so good in my neck of the woods. I'll tell you that. The sanctimonious is sanctimonian. Key word on the monian. Oh, Jesus. All right, here's the deal.
Bill's definitely the guy who got the 1.2 million, by the way, because the more they got paid, I feel like the more they're defending it. Like Dave Chappelle probably got the 1.5 million. He's out there saying, I have more freedom of speech here than I do in America. Now, look, I got a lot of shit in the last clip I put up about this because they're like, oh, whataboutism you're doing. You're doing whataboutism. Well, whataboutism is a fair thing to do when you're comparing two things. You can't compare two things without doing a whataboutism. And when you say like, oh, these guys should never go to Saudi Arabia, they should never take money to go to Saudi Arabia. Well, okay, that's fair. But Saudi Arabia, if you're really offended and upset about what Saudi Arabia is, and I feel like some people are, other people are morally grandstanding, and it's fucking retarded, and it's really gross, but whatever. A lot of people like to sit online and go, Saudi Arabia's mean to gays. And then, they're with their friends, they're yelling the gay F word and stuff. It's like, I don't really buy your disdain for homophobia or like the women's rights stuff over in Saudi Arabia. All that shit is bad, right? All that shit is terrible. But I can promise you this. If no American comedians go over there and tell jokes, nothing will ever change. If you just shut that country out forever, look at Iran. If you just shut that country out forever, they're just going to become more ardent in their beliefs. You liberalize societies by bringing them arts, entertainment. I mean, just look at the WWE, the women had to basically wrestle in like 1920s bathing suits the first time they went there. Now the outfits are loosening up a bit. Same thing with the comedians. They were saying the first time they went there, you had a big, long list of shit you couldn't talk about. Now, government, religion. Okay, Saudi Arabia, is it fucked up? Are their leaders tyrants and assholes? 1,000%. Absolutely. Does that get better or worse with those comedians deciding not to go? Does it get better or worse with those comedians going? Personally, I don't think they move the needle drastically one way or the other, but I do think more people coming out and exposing Middle Easterners to Western culture and Western humor liberalizes societies. I mean, a lot of these people, they're grandstanding on YouTube for hits. They're grandstanding on YouTube for views, whereas I'm willing to take all the down votes just to tell the truth and not be some internet-dwelling dickhead. The fact is, we have embraced this idea since before the Cold War, that the more Western culture, blue jeans diplomacy, blue jeans and rock and roll, the more it gets over to these other parts of the world, the more the people want more of it, and that's how you slowly liberalize cultures. Saudi Arabia is not going to stop doing their fucked up shit tomorrow. And that's whether Bill Burr, Louis C.K., and Dave Chappelle are there or not. But the more the Saudi people watch WWE, the more they watch probably eventually NFL football, the more they watch stand-up comedy or see musical concerts, the more they're going to want more of that Western culture. And the government will have to provide it. Again, we have seen both things numerous times. We have seen us close ourselves off artistically from countries, and they become more ardent and more totalitarian. We've seen our country bring more of our arts to totalitarian regimes, and they slowly start to liberalize over generations. So I know we all hate Bill Burr because Disney Bill and he's got a black wife, but if you grow up and you use your ears, you'll hear me a little bit here. Bill Burr is not enabling the Saudi regime to do the evil shit they're doing. Louis C.K., Chris DiStefano, Dave Chappelle, none of these guys are making it worse in Saudi Arabia by going there. Now, if your argument is, well, they're taking the money and they're censoring their jokes. Okay. I think Mark Maron said it best when he was very honest and he said, look, nobody's asking me to go, so it's easy for me to sit here and rip on the concept. $1.3 million, and all you do is you can't tell Muslim jokes and you can't tell jokes about the Saudi government, and you got a wife and kids at home. 1.3 million helps out.
You guys are asking me, obviously, a ton of questions about the absolute controversy, all right? Here's the deal. I have no problem answering any of them. The problem I have is after I answer them, it all gets clipped. And then once it gets clipped, then the lies start getting told, or they start shaping it and making it this and making it that.
Well, I mean, wait a minute. You get to come on and you get to spout your opinion and you get to say boo about Saudi Arabia and all this stuff and defend yourself. Other people get to hear you and they get to analyze it and they get to have an opinion too. That's why you do a podcast. It's two-way communication. It works both ways. You get to host a show. The audience, from the Latin to listen, Audi, they hear the show and they get to respond to the things they're hearing. You can't go, it's not fair because I tell everyone what I think and then they get to tell me back what they think about what I said. Yeah, that's normal. That's fine. The rest of us are totally okay with that. We do one of two things. We either shut our show off when we're done. We just let people have their opinion. We don't watch it. We don't listen to it. And we just go, well, that's part of the game. I get to say my piece. They get to say their piece. I think that's the most healthy way to do it. Saying that you want to have a podcast and you want to express your opinion, but you're going to get pissy when everyone else clips it and expresses their opinion, that's narcissism. That's just saying that I get to say what it is. I get to control the dynamic. And anyone else who tries to clip it and comment on it is bad or evil or terrible. I don't give a fuck if you clip my stuff. I'm not going to see it. I don't give a fuck if you say I'm Hitler, Satan, all rolled into one. A bunch of you say it already. You get your panties in a bunch. I've been getting people's panties in a bunch for 20 years, giving my opinion on the air. So I'm numb to it. A guy like Bill Burr, who's 20, 30 years older than I am, probably about 15, 20 years older than I am, still getting upset after doing this at such a high level that other people are clipping it and talking about it. It's wild to me.
So all I'm doing is just throwing another log on the fire.
It's fun though, right?
And then they can make more money. No, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
Well, oh, no, because they care so much. That's right. Sorry, not because they're just making money. You know, but I do have to tell you, this is fascinating because I've never been in the middle of one of these fucking things. And my whole life when I watch the news, you know, not every fucking news stories, but there's been a lot of shit where you watch it going like, yeah, I don't know, kind of seems like that kind of fucking dick. So to finally be in the middle of it and the level of like straight up lies is just, it's wild. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've been off the internet for like a fucking month, but just the shit people have been sending, it's funny, you get off the internet and people still send you shit. So like
it is funny, like people will send you shit and I don't even think they're malicious when they do it, but you also look at it like, why do you think I'd want to watch this? Like they'll send you a video titled like Bill Burr's a stupid Arab asshole. You're like, why would you send me this? Like, I don't need to see this. That person's allowed to say that thing. I don't need to watch it. Like, what the fuck? Like, oh, I just thought you might want to see this. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll send you a link every morning of some guy saying that you have a smelly pussy. And you see if it's something that you feel like you really need to hear. Now, if you do have a smelly pussy, that is probably something you need to be told about and take care of. But you understand what I'm saying. Like, it is, Bill's right there. Like, you leave the internet for a while, and people are still like, oh, Bill, you got to see that. That's how you know you're addicted to the drama and you can't let it go.
These stories of like there was no women there, he just performed to the Royals. By the time they're done with this shit, they're going to say I went over there and did a one-on-one show in a fucking tent staring at my toes and then I left.
That is how they made it sound. That is how a lot of the people online made it sound, in fairness. Like it was a comedy festival. They were in an arena. There were thousands of people in there, women too, and they did comedy shows. And hopefully enough people saw those comedy shows that they want to see more of it. And the Saudi Arabia government has to keep bringing these people back. And each time there's more and more stuff they can talk about. And they break down those barriers a little more each time. That sure would be nice.
Head fucking guy, whoever the hell it is over there, right? Once again, I performed in an arena over there. In the round, there was 8,000 people at the show. Okay? It was citizens. And then they had diplomats sitting down front in a nerve-wracking way for the performer to make sure that, you know, you didn't talk about the 2 or 3 things that they said that they negotiated down to not talk about. Once again, as I said before, whoever put together the comedy festival and everything, what it did for freedom of speech over there, because like before it started, you couldn't talk about all of this stuff. And then they whittled it down to just that.
And I catch shit for saying that when I put clips up of this, which is fine, but I am right. And you can be upset. You can be mad just because you're mad. Doesn't mean you're right. The fact is, it does whittle away at these things over time. You have to remember, there are no Thomas Jeffersons in Saudi Arabia. All right? Any change that happens is going to happen incrementally, and it's going to happen through blue jeans diplomacy. Us exposing them to more of our culture. You heard it from Bill. It's already had an impact. And I know that's true because I've heard it from comedians that went there and comedians that haven't gone there, that the list used to be 50 things long. Now it's 2. And by the way, I've played many stand-up gigs where I've taken $1,000, not $1.2 million, but $1,000 or $1,200. And you're told not to talk about certain things. I was paid $1,500 by the Sherburne County Fair once to do an outdoor stand-up show. I don't know why they paid us so much. They didn't charge for tickets. It was one of their free like beer garden band shell entertainment deals. One of the things they threw in with the money they make on the fair. And I think it was about $1,200 or $1,500 to do this show. And it was outdoors, which is terrible for comedy. My set was fine, but it was nothing memorable. But there were a couple things that they asked us not to make fun of and not make jokes about. And I'm like, you know, it wasn't like religion and the government. You know, it was like, one of them was like, we have a lot of farmers and FFA and like egg people here. So like, don't shit on farmers or egg people because then they'll complain to us, you know, was kind of their vibe. And I'm like, look, $1,200 to do, I think I had to do 30 minutes and Adrian had to do 30 minutes. $1,200 to do 30 minutes. I'm just going to fucking take the money and I won't do your, I won't do it. Halfway Jam had us perform one morning in the campgrounds. Halfway Jam paid us $1,000 each. And it was like, don't shit on any of the bands that are here and don't shit on the concept of the concert, of the festival. Like, cool. I mean, I'd love to do some Sebastian Bach jokes, but I'm fine not doing them. So, I mean, you take a shitload of money from people, they can kind of tell you what to say.
And that is how, you know, if you truly care about stuff like that, you gradually move towards something more positive. All right? I mean, and I have to tell you, all right, all of this sanctimonious shit out there, I'm going to tell you something right now. I saw, in 33 years of stand-up, I've never seen anybody with bigger balls. And I'm not going to say the name of the comedian, even though you're going to figure it out, but I'm just trying not to get anybody else this fucking shit coming at him. Went on over there, openly gay.
DeStefano, clearly.
In the middle of the set, two of the diplomats got up to go to the bathroom, and this person said, "Hey, where are you going? Are you going to go on Grindr?" I mean, I've seen them all. I've never seen anybody.
I mean, I guess maybe in Saudi Arabia saying that to the diplomats or saying it to the government officials is kind of wild, but and they didn't put him in stocks. They didn't kill the guy for it or anything like that. They made a gay joke at a couple of the guys. I don't know if that's the ballsiest. I mean, I get maybe in Saudi Arabia it is, but you're kind of killing your own argument there. If you're like, that's the ballsiest thing I've ever seen. I thought you said the free speech walls were breaking. That shouldn't be a very ballsy thing then.
Buddy, it's like, I don't have the balls to say that.
Okay.
And the fact that her own people came at her and all of that, it's disgusting. It really is. That's what they're going to clip. That's what they're going to clip. Bill?
Here's the deal. Like, but if you have, you know, it's the same thing with like making peace with people. You make peace with your enemies. You make peace with people you have a problem with. That's why they call it making peace. You don't make peace with your friends. You don't have to. If you're going to push boundaries, you got to push them in a place like Saudi Arabia when it comes to gay stuff, not San Francisco. San Francisco, you don't need to. It's already degenerate.
Says fucking the reaction to da-da-da is disgusting. And I'll tell you what else is amazing and really confusing to me is what we did over there wasn't even on TV. However, what everybody's complaining about was on TV the week before. On a different event, and nobody said anything. So, you know, and that's the difference between being a billion-dollar conglomerate and being an independent contractor. It's kind of like, you know, if you go back to like, I don't want to talk anymore about it, but like I said.
It's a good point. We get what he's trying to say. Being an independent contractor versus a giant corporation, because let's let facts be facts. All the outrage that the internet's thrown at Bill Burr, all the angry people in YouTube chat rooms that have gone after Bill Burr, it hasn't hurt his bottom line. All right. In the real world, he's doing well. In the real world, he's making probably more money than he ever has before. He's just lost some respect of people who are always looking for something to be upset about. And the wheel has fallen on him now for the last few years. But he's still doing fine. His bottom line's still doing okay. So I feel like a lot of this is cathartic for people. A lot of people get to bitch and then their views go up and they get to feel sanctimonious and they really gave it to Saudi Arabia and they really, you know, they got to call Bill Burr a hypocrite and yeah, that lit a fire in them. That made them feel good. That's a good thing. That's great. That made you feel good. And then Bill gets to go and make $1.5 million and he gets to call all those people stupid. And then he feels good. He feels great about it. I don't see how this isn't a win-win. I really don't. All I know is you can't, ignore Saudi Arabia and then expect all of the bad shit they do to get better. That's not how any of this works. It doesn't. You can't ignore tyranny and expect them to solve it on their own. You have to go and you have to open their eyes to other things, to other options, to other forms of entertainment. And you could argue it is working. It already has broken down barriers in Saudi Arabia. Numero Uno says, Bill conveniently leaving out the expressed purpose of this festival is to reframe Saudi Arabia as a cultural hub for travel. It's not affecting the life of the common Saudi. Well, any more than like the fucking Olympics are when they're here, or the World Cup or anything like that. I mean, I don't give a shit when they're here. And yes, Saudi Arabia is trying to make itself a cultural hub. Now they get a taste of it. More of the shows are going to be there. Now the people of Saudi Arabia, and again, the people want more and more of it. As you become more and more in demand, you can ask for more freedoms. 09 Canyon says, all I know is what they've done for me. Where's my money? I've never gotten a dime from the Saudis. I love this. This person's making fun of Will Heron with 199, calling themselves the Maine God. Yeah, Will apparently can't tell the difference between the word May and Maine. So I really like that one. Thank you, Maine God. And no, I didn't get an invite. I wonder, it hurts my feelings. Hurts my feelings, to be honest with you. No, but I love that. I love that you're making fun of Will with that name. That's fantastic. $5 from Red Fox Mad says, I miss the old Steel Toe comedy shows with Adrian, Corey, Oz, and the old bars we used to have shows at. Those were the days. Those were a lot of fun. But the older my kids got and the older I got, the more unsustainable those were getting. Like, even when we had all of us and we went to the internet and we could still sell out, we were still selling out shows and we could still, sell out Sartell and shit like that and Stoney's and the red carpet. We could still do that. It's just, I'm older. It's not as fun as it used to be. I'd rather just do like a meet and greet type of thing. The whole going back and doing the comedy show thing. Oh, not for me anymore. That's for the young. God bless them. $75 away from next Monday's goal. Thank you guys very much for throwing a few bucks at the toe tonight. We haven't needed it. Our goals are good through the end of the week. The morning show sure is staying ahead, though. Oh, my God. The morning show's like 140 or 145 away from Thursday. So you and the morning show still staying at least a day ahead. I like that. Keep it that way. And the toe is flowing effortlessly, which I appreciate. Yeah, on tomorrow's show, we're going to do the Hassan dog thing and compare it to the Johnny thing. It'll be so silly, so stupid. I don't know if you saw this. Conor McGregor violated the anti-doping rules again for like steroids and shit. And he's going to get an 18-month suspension for him competing. And it may fuck up his chances to do this big UFC event in the White House. June 14th, Donald Trump, who's a big mixed martial arts fan, he's going to have a UFC event for his 80th birthday on June 14th, 2026. Conor McGregor is supposed to be fighting Michael Chandler at this event, which they're both old. They're both washed, so it might be a good fight. A lot of times when they get these old fighters together and they think they got nothing left, they're both spent enough to make it a good fight. Like Ali Frazier 3 is a great example of that. Even though Ali was the champion, he had seen better days. He'd lost a couple of steps. Joe Frazier was on his last legs, and they beat the living dog shit out of each other. It was a great fight. The president made the announcement Sunday while speaking at the Naval Station in Virginia, saying on June 14th next year, we're going to have a big UFC fight at the White House with the ring at the White House grounds. I'm assuming they're going to do this outside, which is even cooler.
And on June 14th, next year, we're going to have a big UFC fight at the White House, right at the White House, on the grounds of the White House.
Kind of cool. I wish we'd get more of that. I wish we could get boxing matches and UFC events and shit like that. That would be really cool. I mean, it's not unprecedented. Theodore Roosevelt had a boxing ring installed in the basement of the White House, and when foreign heads of state would come over, he would challenge them to boxing matches. I mean, there would be polo games on the White House grounds. I mean, these were, we're talking way back in the day, but it did happen. It did happen. 09 Canyon says, Fury versus Chandler. Could this fight be any more lopsided? Wait, Fury? Did I say Fury? I meant Conor McGregor. Michael Chandler, UFC, White House. What are you talking about, Fury? Doubt cast on McGregor's White House fight claims. Yeah, that I don't know anything about Fury. Fury, White House fight. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see anything about Tyson Fury or anything like that. What the fuck are you babbling about, my man? But Conor McGregor, I want to see if I got this right. I don't think it was USADA that gave him the ban. It was the UFC anti-doping policy. Holy shit. I didn't even know he was under contracts. Combat Sports Anti-Doping announced today that Conor McGregor has accepted an 18-month period of ineligibility for a violation of the UFC anti-doping policy. McGregor missed 3 attempted biological sample selections within a 12-month period in 2024. Again, he wasn't even fighting, I don't believe, in 2024, which constitutes a violation of the UFC ADP. UFC athletes are required to provide an accurate whereabouts of information at all times so they can be contacted and submit to biological sample selections without prior warning. McGregor's missed tests occurred on June 13th, September 19th, and September 20th of 2024, and were each classified as whereabouts failures. Wow, they do not fuck around with that, do they? So what does that mean for the White House fight? I mean, if they're holding that as a UFC event, then UFC, I mean, I know they've bent the rules for superstars in the past, but I mean, that would make your anti-doping that they're so proud of there in the UFC, that would be that would be the biggest twist they've ever done. I don't think they could get away with that one. But it looks like I don't think McGregor Chandler is going to happen without them, again, seriously cheating at that whole thing. Trump's been kind of busy lately, so he's got this Conor McGregor idea versus Michael Chandler for this UFC event at the White House. And apparently he's got Diddy calling him. I don't know if you saw yesterday, I think it was, or Friday even. Diddy got sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in prison. 8 days don't look so bad all of a sudden, does it? By the way, had something due today for that. We submitted our proposed schedule for that 8 days, which was pretty easy. I mean, a pretty simple, straightforward submission. And then the prosecutor in my case was supposed to be opposing it, and they were supposed to file it by today. As of me coming on the show, I didn't see anything today. So I guess, well, let's just say maybe some paperwork I filed got back to her. That she might have made an oopsie. The judge took into consideration that Diddy was self-made, someone who lifted up others, supported his family. Now, Diddy got convicted of 2 counts of violating the Mann Act, which is taking women across state lines for immoral purposes. It's like switched to trafficking now. But the Mann Act was initially created to lock black guys in prison for bringing white women across state. It's basically a sleeping with white women offense. The Mann Act has a horribly racist history. It's how they got heavyweight champion Jack Johnson in a violation of the Mann Act. It should be repealed or called something else, because the actual Mann Act has a horrible racist connotation in this country. So the fact that a black man is convicted of 2 counts of violation of the Mann Act, even though he is being convicted for the spirit of the law, it's a little weird to me. I think the longest sentence he could have gotten was 20 years, 10 years per count of a violation of the Mann Act. He ended up getting 4. I think his attorney wanted like 18 months time served, and I think the prosecution was asking for 10 years. So they did kind of split the baby on this deal.
Hey, well, yeah, the judge moments ago sentencing Sean Diddy Combs to 4 years behind bars, telling the court he took into consideration that Diddy was self-made, someone who lifted up others, supported his family. He noted that Diddy did a lot of this while even battling addiction, but he said he had to consider all of the rapper's history. And he said that, specifically, he said, quote, "A history of good works can't wash away the record."
Well, Diddy, who was that rapper who took the fall for Diddy's gun? Remember when they found that gun, when he was dating J-Lo, they found that gun in his car and it was 1,000% totally Diddy's? What was that, Shine? I think Shine took the heat for that gun and he went to prison for years. But I think everybody knew that that was Diddy's that they found in that Escalade. And I think that's what Shine went to jail for. Could be wrong, but this is not Diddy's first brush with the law. Rabbi Smoothie with $1 says, okay, nobody has explained it. Prison is much more structured, having order, if you will. Jail is full of thug wannabes trying to make a name for themselves. You don't want to do 8 straight. I'm going to go ahead and listen to guards who are fans of the show, who might know a little more. Everybody's got their ideas, and everybody watches TV and movies. I know from people who have reached out to me that have experience in this sort of thing. And let's just say don't believe everything you watch just because it's on a movie. Let's put it that way. So apparently Diddy has reached out to Trump to ask him for a pardon in this Mann Act violation deal. Let's get to that. I'd laugh. I think it was funny. I don't think Diddy's like a danger to society at large. I think Diddy was being used as the new Epstein by the blackmailers and the traffickers. He was being handled by the Maui wildfire guy and the Las Vegas shooting guy. It's the same guy. That was his Ray Donovan. That was his fixer. And Diddy was being used by the elites and by the deep state to gather blackmail on people. And I think as long as you shut all that down and they've all moved on to whoever their next person is, which they probably have, then I don't really see where Diddy is like a danger to anyone. So I think it would be funny as fuck if Trump pardoned him. I think it would be a hilarious, but I don't think he will.
Sean Diddy Combs has asked him for a pardon.
I have a lot of people who have asked me for pardons. I call him Puff Daddy has asked me for a pardon.
Combs is serving a 4-year sentence in a New York City jail on 2 prostitution-related charges. Attorneys for Combs have not commented on President Trump's remarks, but they are asking to move his sentence to a low-security federal prison in New Jersey. ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer is following that story for us. Brian, you say the president could have...
He doesn't need to be in a maximum security facility. He can go to a low-security place. We don't need to waste a shitload of money. I don't know if locking up billionaires is really the best use of taxpayer money. Like, make him pay money to the people and make him pay a fine or something like that. But there's something about tax dollars going to fund non-violent billionaires sitting in prison that's, ugh.
Help Diddy get released without a pardon or full clemency. How so?
So it would be the other way around, that he can, in fact. The president has very broad powers in terms of clemency. Clemency being the larger umbrella where both a pardon and commutation could come up. Now, For most people, they make an application to the Office of the Pardon Attorney and the DOJ, but someone like Sean Combs could go directly to the president, or he could just simply hear of him, and he can either reduce his sentence to the point that he can get released, a commutation, or give him a full pardon.
You say there's also a program that could reduce Diddy's sentence for a year? How?
Yeah, so the defense attorneys have asked for a program called RDAP. It's a very extensive program that if you're incarcerated in the federal prison system for about a little over 3 years, so Sean Combs would be applicable for that, and also have some sort of substance abuse issue. It's a 9 to 12 month 500-hour intensive drug program that if you are successful at it, you can reduce your sentence by an additional year on top of your already good time that you would serve.
So Diddy's, I think, got like a year already, and then a year for that program. He'd be in for 2 years. Then you got to figure good behavior and all that. He'll be out in a year. I mean, Diddy will probably be out by the end of 2026. I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes. The sentences themselves, if you behave yourself, are on paper. That's like everyone went, 15 days. My attorney right there in court goes, it's 8. It's 8. He's just like, this is how it works. It's 8. So I don't think Diddy's going to get the pardon, or I'm sorry, Puff Daddy. I don't think Puff Daddy's going to get the pardon, but I also don't think he's going to serve 4 years. Time served, he'll do 3. That drug program, he'll do 2. Good behavior, he'll do 1. Again, Christmas of next year, he'll probably spend it in his mansion. Honky says Derek Chauvin is more deserving of a pardon. You know, if you really look into that whole Derek Chauvin thing, just the fair trial he didn't get his conviction should be wiped away and reversed. Derek Chauvin should not be in a prison cell. Even if you think he did to George Floyd what he did to George Floyd, the trial he got was a sham. It was a show trial. It was a trial you'd get in the old Soviet Union on, espionage charges. Derek Chauvin got the same trial William Wallace got. I don't think so. I don't think that you wouldn't want your father, your brother, your mother, your sister. You wouldn't want any of them tried in the same way that Derek Chauvin was tried. I mean, Jesus Christ, they wouldn't let him present the full body cam footage at the trial, which is insane because it very clearly shows a George Floyd who is inebriated, a George Floyd who was having either an OD or a panic attack or a health event of some sort, and that Derek Chauvin didn't cause the death of George Floyd. Yeah, T. Duden, you are incorrect. I'm sorry. You are incorrect. It is 8. T. Duden is weird. He is one of those guys who, like, when I tell him something that's accurate, but it's not what he wanted to hear, he gets mad at me for some reason. Like, I'm just telling you the way it is. I'm not telling you my opinion, buddy. Don't get mad at me. All right, this one's for Johnny. For Johnny, man.
Let's do it for Johnny, man. We'll do it for Johnny.
It's a cat story. It's a nice little, look at that. Johnny would just like to take that little cat and pet it on top of the head and punch it right in the fucking face. Let's take a listen.
Animal shelter says he is getting the runaround from the city after being overcharged $750.
Oh.
And he says they won't return his calls. Now he's trying to claw back the cash.
They overcharged him $750 and he's like, I want my goddamn money back, or I'll bring these cats right back to you. And the Humane Society, dude, they do not want cats. They are so overloaded with cats. They got to shove them all into an oven, basically, because it's just like nobody wants them, and they come in faster than they get rid of them. They get one guy getting 2 cats and walking out of there. I mean, they'll Katie bar the door when he comes by. They'll be like, nope, fuck you. You took the cats. They're yours. Leave us alone. So they're not returning his calls. He thinks he got overcharged by $750. I thought they were like giving away cats. Like Gordy was in demand. He cost money at the Tri-County Humane Society there as a little puppy. He was adorable. He wouldn't have lasted long. We were the second family to claim him. And the first family that claimed him had 48 hours to come get him. And we were there at 47 hours and 50 minutes, and we waited 10 minutes and 1 second. We were like, he's ours. We'll take him. We got to take little Gordy home. But cats, I always thought they just gave them to you. Like, they didn't even background check you. They're like, you'll take one of these fuckers out of here. Here, they throw it to you, and they just let you go.
All right, so this one here with the black collar, this is Salem. And this one here with the red on, this is Derpy.
They are a pair of costly kittens.
Is very obviously gay. I look at him and I'm like, well, you're gay.
They're part of the family already.
The new four-legged members of James Brashear's family left him with an unexpected financial hit when he paid the Front Street Animal Shelter's adoption fees.
There was a server error, so every time I hit payment, it was a server error, and she kept telling me to redo it, just redo it, just redo it, so I did it.
Oh, that'll happen. That'll happen sometimes, and she thinks she's canceling out your payment, and it's not registering, but you're paying every time for those two little cats. I mean, it kind of serves you right. Get a dog. Get a real pet next time. You fuck around with cats, you weirdo. You deserve it.
5 times.
Because of the transaction trouble, Brashear paid in cash, $150, then got home to see he was charged 6 times that amount on his credit card. The transactions had gone through.
I ended up paying $900.
Now he says the Front Street Animal Shelter has not paid him back and is giving him the runaround.
It's because they already spent the money. You know how much cat and dog food they need at a place like that? Shit, man. Your $750 comes in handy.
Blaming bureaucracy.
He's got to approve it, send it to another manager who will then send it to another manager who will send it to finance. And I went, okay, this is way too complicated. I just want my $750 back. And I'm just kind of, tired of being ghosted by the city on this.
A spokesperson for the Front Street Animal Shelter says the transaction error was due to a glitch, leading several customers to pay their adoption fees multiple times, and that unfortunately, the city's refund process is not in our control, and we aren't able to issue refunds directly as we don't take the money directly.
This is a great example of why it's always best to let city governments handle shit like this. It's so streamlined and wonderful, isn't it? Bureaucracy, it's a very splendid thing. A many splendid thing, this bureaucracy. God. We can overcharge the shit out of you, but we can't give you your money back. Well, that sounds about right.
Well, they haven't said nothing.
Brashear is happy to give these two felines forever homes. He's frustrated the Front Street Animal Shelter isn't more upfront with the money
I see what you did there.
I'm just like, I'm kind of tired of the runaround.
Yeah, too bad we know that you just bought 2 cats, so we know you're a giant fucking pussy and you're not going to do anything about it. You went and whined to the news. You're just lucky that Sacramento had a slow news day. No homeless gay dude dropped trow and shit on the sidewalk, so you're up, slugger.
In a statement to us, the Front Street Animal Shelter said refund checks are typically received within 1 to 2 weeks. But as you heard there, Brashear says they have not given him a straightforward answer about when he can expect to be repaid.
Well, you keep bitching. How long do you think it's going to be now that you went and tattled to the news on them? They're really not going to want to give you shit. They're not going to do a damn thing. Jelly for the Smelly says, Aaron, what would the proper boxing stance be against an antagonistic cat? It would actually be a little unorthodox, because what you're going to want to do, since that cat's going to jump up, you're not going to go with a traditional stance. You're going to want to go with kind of what they call a long guard. Is you're going to get that right hand up here, almost like a windshield wiper, right? And you want that left hand out to control distance. You want it down. Usually when you use a long guard, you want it up. You want to kind of steer your opponent. You want to probe with the jab, look for an opening with the right. With the cat, you're going to do a long guard, but you're going to keep it down here, because if that cat tries to jump at you, you got to be able to use that left again to control distance. And if that cat goes right for the face, you can kind of turn into one as the cat comes in, like Johnny would, and you can put him on his ass. So I recommend for a cat, you use a long guard. Deny it at your own peril. Your call. 09 Canyon says $150 for cute kittens. Price goes down from there. They do 2 for 1 specials all the time. 2 for 1. I get it. Sam Show says, but Aaron, you have a Mexican rat. He's a sweet boy, too. He's a sweet boy. MSO says, hey, Aaron, look up the ethnicity of the board of that company. Oh, God. I'm not doing this. City of Sacramento Park Animal Shelter. Front Street Animal Shelter. Here, Sacramento Front Street Animal Shelter Board. I don't want to look this up, but I will. It's just, look, it's Stacey Hayes. It's Larissa Broughton, Georgianne Eberhardt, Dennis Greenbaum, Alyssa Malinowski, Bob Paganelli, Brandon Pell. I mean, really, other than Dennis Greenbaum and Alyssa Malinowski, I don't think anything's happening there that you're insinuating is happening there, sir. Sir. Rabbi Smoothie says kicking is a 15-yard penalty. Taste Fairy Ielto says, what if you're boxing a kangaroo? You're fucked because they like to jump with their hind legs and reach their giant claws into your guts and just rip out your innards. A kangaroo, I would say, honestly, maybe the shell, because you drape that left arm across your body and that might guard against the claws, but really you're kind of fucked. I mean, if you find yourself in a fight with a kangaroo, just go ahead and play dead. It's your best chance. Sam Show says, aren't you supposed to grab the kangaroo by the balls? Yeah, go ahead and give that a shot. Let me know how it works out. How's that? Sam Show says, Aaron, what you just said is too complicated. Do what I do. Just get a running start and punt the cat through the air. Well, you know, he asked me about boxing stances, and I was just trying to help. I advise a long guard a lot of the time. A lot of the time. All right, guys, I got to get out of here, but you know what? We've got a video premiering in about a minute here, and I would really like to send you guys to that link, and you guys can go watch that. It's our Dana White coverage from yesterday's show. So I'm going to go ahead and put this link in both the YouTube and the Rumble chats, and you guys can go join that premiere. Join the premiere. Look at you guys. You can be premiere watchers. There you go. There it is. Go ahead and click that and go watch it and give us a few extra views. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we will see you in the morning.